Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. We're here with the Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks crew to dive into something that's been hovering over me for a long time. I'm like, oh, shit. Eventually, we're going to get to the Tusk podcast. Here we are. We're at the Tusk podcast. It's going to be really interesting because, Jim, you were probably listening to this when it came out, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a good segue into a story.
All right.
Okay.
Let's say the story. We're gonna do introductions really quick first.
Okay.
Yep. And then Alicia's hearing it for the first time, a lot of it. So in between those two places, we have Roland, me, and Nathan. But before we go into any stories or songs, let's do a person by person introduction. And Jim has a story to tell about Tusk. We'll start with Jim in my upper left-hand corner.
Okay. My name is Jim Miller, and from Sweetwater, Tennessee. And I'll guess I can hit that story right now.
Yeah.
Okay. My sister had you remember Columbia House, the records for a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was Tusk. And she started playing it. I knew right away with Over and Over it was Fleetwood Mac. So I just kind of sat probably in my bedroom and listening from hers or something like that. And I listened through it. You know, I think she played about 2 times, and it was different. It was especially when like the Ledge came on, and my sister is like, you know, conservative, kind of buttoned up, kind of preppy, and like the Ledge that was playing in her room is like something was, body and wild as that. That was kind of, and I don't think she probably didn't really like that one among a lot of the others. Lindsay did, but she told me later that Columbia House just kept sending her records and then sending the billing. They would just pick out, that's the way they operated. And it's pretty hard to quit Columbia House.
Right.
So she had a few records to play. And then, they were kind of cheap. But then it's just like some of these other things like Publishers Clearinghouse or whatever. They'll just send you a load of records in Tusk. That's how I was introduced with Tusk. And and it's a double album. It's very big, a lot to take in. And like Lindsay went off on the left field, and Chris was kind of like Chris, as we know, is a good writer and just good pop songs for the most part. And the one thing is, like, it came to a point where I just, Stevie was singing her lesser songs, and like Storms and Beautiful Child, and it's like she just pouring her heart out, and that in her voice was like, this is like, this is not really to make money. This is just about emoting yourself,
right.
And I really like that aspect. A singer songwriter girl, like probably one of the best ever. You compared her to like the Joni Mitchells and all the good vocalists, all the good writers.
Let's say that's my other Phonogenics group.
That's the point. That's the, I was kind of left with that. She played it probably about twice, maybe, not much. And that was it. And I didn't really go further with it. I just know that she was playing a Fleetwood Mac album. And now, that was like probably 1980.
All right, Jim, we're just doing introductions, so let's keep going around the circle.
Yeah. Okay, I got another one coming, but
all right, space them out. All right, Roland.
I'm Roland from Canada. I've been a long-time fan, and I'm looking forward to this talk because I love the Tusk record. I like it better than Rumors, actually.
Okay.
So looking forward to this.
Good.
All right, Alicia.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that. Hold on. There it is. Okay. It had to do all these updates. So, introduction. Yes. So my name is Alicia. I am from South Carolina. This is, except for the Stevie songs on this record, this is the first time I'm really listening to it here in the last couple weeks. So this is another one of those kind of fresh takes of a record. And I this morning I was watching the Tusk documentary, so didn't finish it, but it
About an hour.
Huh?
That's about an hour, right?
It was 90 minutes.
Yeah.
At
Oh,
least
is it?
the version I had,
Okay.
working through.
I watched one was around an hour. There's some other, that was pretty good.
So
It was mostly live takes. If that's the one, there's mostly live cuts.
yeah,
and
it had
nothing
them,
much
and in a burst was all the studio footage. So
Yeah, some of that Lindsay singing into the floor and weird stuff.
I hadn't got to that part yet.
Stevie's
But I
mic.
have heard that. So I'm more of a Stevie Nicks fan. Found out, I watched a documentary on Rumors, 15 years ago now, back in 07. And that my homework for that summer, once I got through that semester of school, was, because it was exam week, was to go track down who Fleetwood Mac was. And a month later I said, well, I like this singer. So I went and and stayed in Stevie land for close to like 12 years, something like that. Anyways, so we're now picking up all the Fleetwood Mac records and Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie's music and diving into that. So trying to keep it short, Jeremy. I'm trying.
Oh, you're perfect. You're perfect. You're all perfect. Just Christine perfect. Alicia's been with me since the Belladonna.
Yes.
Roland, when did you jump in?
To Tusk?
No, when did you come on the podcast?
This Wild Heart.
Wild Heart.
Yeah.
And Jim, you were Wild Heart. And Nathan, were you Wild Heart too?
I regret not doing Belladonna because that's really a big deal.
Yeah.
It's really-
Jeremy, you may have to do a
the Jim director's cut.
yes.
All right, Nathan, you're next.
Hello again, everybody. This is Nathan J. Bravo at yahoo.com if you need to email me. And it's nice to see you guys again. I think this is as great a record as I'm sure you all do. So I'm looking forward to talking about every nuance and nook and cranny of it with you now.
So this might be like the Joni Mitchell podcast, like 10 hours long, right?
20 songs. 20 songs.
Okay, we're going to cover 20 songs. We are going to do the Marcus from the Prince Phonogenics. Came up with a rating system. So each song we got to rate it. Thumbs up, sideways, or down. Because it'll be really interesting to see what we got going on. Okay, my name's Jeremy Gloff. I did come down with Bell's palsy this week. So half my face is frozen, but we're still going to do the podcast. I just talk a little bit funny. Like Cindy Brady when she had her teeth coming in or whatever that episode was.
I keep forgetting. I wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't said anything.
Okay. It's not as bad as it was when I had it in 2017. Clearly, I'm very stressed in life. So that's another podcast. Thank you to all my Patreon subscribers and to the YouTube subscribers. So, of course, I had the Fleetwood Mac album and I had the Rumors album, but not everyone had the Tusk album, like, the other ones. But my first memory of it was my babysitter was talking about the song Tusk and Mick Fleetwood's solo in it. So that was my first introduction to Tusk. In the 80s, when I bought all of Fleetwood Mac's albums, I bought the album. And truthfully, I was pretty underwhelmed by it at the time. I thought Lindsay's songs were weird. Christine and Stevie's took a while to grow on me because they weren't as immediately poppy as the other stuff. And I kind of put it away. I rediscovered the album when I lived in Atlanta. And I was pretty depressed living there. And I would ride the MARTA subway all the time. And I had a Discman. So for some reason, during that era when I lived in Atlanta, I really got into Stevie Nicks, The Other Side of the Mirror, and to Tusk. And those are the only things I listened to. And I'm a musician myself. So at the time, I was working on a double album myself called Songs About Stupid People. I'm like, this could be my Tusk. And looking back on it, it really is, because there's like a few good songs and then a bunch of ones that aren't the best. So yeah, that's my story coming to Tusk. I'm excited to discuss the album. I would imagine anyone watching this podcast knows about the history of Tusk, but it was a follow-up to Rumors that was a huge mega success. Lindsey Buckingham was inspired by new wave and punk, so he wanted to get weird and artsy, and there was conflicts amongst the band. They spent millions and millions of trillions of dollars in the studio. There was a lot of cocaine. Stevie Nicks needed all the hotel rooms painted white with a white grand piano. This album was the definition of rock and roll excess. It was released as a double album, as we said. The cover art is very, very intricate. Here's I got it somewhere over here. The picture's embossed so that you have a double sleeve in here, some really weird pictures. Lindsey cut his hair, so that was notable. He reinvented his look. Apparently there was turmoil in the band about Lindsey's new direction, but they wanted to give him his chance to express himself. And I guess what else is there to say about the history of the album before we go into the song by song? That's kind of the legend. There's a really great book by Ken, what's his name? Calliot?
Caleb.
Yeah, about the making of Tusk. Okay, we have
this
Alicia.
one. Yeah, this one.
Yep, I have it. It's wonderful.
The other thing of history, I guess, is after Tusk or during Tusk, you have to correct me, is all of these performers ended up getting their own private managers.
Yes.
And what was already complicated with the relationships now got even more complicated. And what I found interesting was Mick Fleetwood was kind of the master, as crazy and wild as that is, and the manager of the band. So he was relieved of those duties, as they say. And so it's almost like the slow downfall of a really good band. It's kind of the sad thing.
No.
Well, after this, you only have Mirage, and then you have Tango.
Yeah.
So this group of five, I mean, it's really kind of sad. And then you have the live back at 97. I mean, it just doesn't, there isn't much left.
It's a prelude to all his solo careers in the 80s.
That's what I'm going to say. It was, you can like an Angel, Stevie did a vocal there and the attitude there of a solo career halfway through the song. And Lindsey's early solo stuff is really close to Tusk in a lot of ways, kind of strange. And, I respect him for that. He's rebelling against the system. I mean, need more of that. I respect that.
I think a big legend was he went to the studio and said, all right, if the knob's supposed to be in the center, turn it all the way to the left and all the way to the right. Another thing that we need to say about the Tusk folklore is that the day before the album was released, wasn't it played in its entirety on FM radio? So they lost a lot of sales because people taped it on their cassettes.
Yeah, people taped it.
So that hurt the sales. And at the time, it did sell 2 million copies, which is nothing to sneeze at, but anything would pale commercially in the shadows of Rumors,
Yeah. I remember when I bought Tusk much later after it came out, Rumors, you would pay $7.99 or so for Rumors, but the Tusk record had a big stack of them at the record store for $4.99.
Wow.
With the little the corner nipped off, it's like this, I don't know what, a reject or whatever, but it was the big stack of Rumors. Cutout, big stack of Tusk and going cheaper than Rumors. Or
Alicia,
even a double album too.
Did you have something, Alicia?
Well, it was interesting, your comment about anything behind Rumors was not going to probably go as big as Rumors. And that made me think of Adele, because she kind of made that comment after 21. Because 21 was kind of that big album last decade.
Although I would definitely say Adele made a Mirage, not a Tusk, for her follow-up.
True. 21 and then 24 wasn't too shabby, but she kind of knew not to expect sales. And I think they started to feel the pressure with this record. I was watching the 2020 interview of them and of Fleetwood, and they were saying that the record labels were kind of holding this as, to
save the sales slump.
Yes, because it was during the beginning of the recession back in 79, 80. So I think that's another thing you have to realize is there was a lot of pressure to kind of check all the boxes, so to speak.
Yeah. Nathan, did you have something?
I just think it's neat that the record company paid for them to have their own studio built.
Right.
And I don't know if the Village Recorder was already built and they just had like their own wing done or how exactly that shook out, but they certainly had a custom space made for them.
Yeah.
All to their liking and specs, I'm sure. And the fact that it was in an old Masonic Lodge building, I think it just fits in really, hangs really well with the rest of the whole Fleetwood Mac vibe,
Right.
They actually did a replica of Lindsay's bathroom in there for the acoustics. That is, it's, well, I mean, really, you get the sound you want. And
well, that's interesting, Jim. There's a great thing on YouTube where they actually take you through, again, it's my favorite phrase, I guess, every nook and cranny of the Village Recorder. So if you guys haven't watched that, I think it's totally interesting. But there's a part, and they just go to it real quick, where they open the bathroom door and there's a men's and a women's right next to each other. And the men's looks like a porcelain outhouse. I mean, it's just a dump of a bathroom. And the woman's, and it's kind of a joke, this is where the girls go and this is where the men go, and the girls is like all gold and mirrors and stuff on YouTube.
Is that where the blue crystal mirror is? That's always truthful in the bathroom of the recording studio. So the legend is that the album was named after Mick Fleetwood's wiener, right? That's where Tusk came from. And let's talk about the cover art before we get into the album. Stevie Nicks was once quoted, and I don't know if she really said it, that Ken's dog stole her album cover.
Yeah.
So Stevie was pissed that she was not on the cover of Tusk.
Oh.
There was a dog and an elephant trunk. Let's pull up the LP.
Elephant.
You have weird pictures of them were these by Norman Seeff or whatever his name is, who did a lot of Carly Simon, a lot of Joni Mitchell. We have a weird beach house.
It's just
collages. I remember being a little kid being like, there's boobs in this.
I don't like that.
So much of this is undecipherable. Like there's little writing. I don't know what the hell it is in here.
I remember spending hours looking through those collages, looking for little things.
Another picture of the band. Stevie's up on the ceiling. Christine's just chilling. John McVie's like, I'll take the paycheck. Lindsay's up on the ceiling, and Mick is standing on his head. And let's see what we got on the other side. So what do you guys think of this album cover? Definitely a different vibe than, okay, Lindsay's all by himself here. That's fitting.
Yeah.
We have, now there's just the furniture left.
And some scars.
Some scars. Stevie scars.
A plant.
This is definitely a different vibe. Do you guys like the cover?
I've come to accept it.
Alicia's like thumbs down.
Well, I mean, it's like, I know I said this at, I guess, the last one, but they had a theme going with the cover art.
Right.
With the crystal. And it would have been interesting to have seen somehow they incorporate that with this. The
label's like sand.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just underwhelming. There's a lot that they could have kept the whole penguin thing going.
But to your point earlier, Alicia, this marks, I think you're right, that this marks a separating, and what's the word? They're each kind of establishing their own
brand,
solidifying their own individual, it's a solidifying of their own. It's them individuating or whatever instead of being a cohesive band, and that's why every song is so different. Whereas in Rumors,
It was cohesive.
you know what I'm saying? It was more like it just all fit together in a way that was more obvious.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing is that the album cover is oversized. So if you have a stack of vinyl, Tusk will stick out because it was a little bit bigger size.
Okay. Huh.
And if everyone remembers, the first issue of the CD, the original CD, had the radio edit of Sara because they couldn't fit the whole album onto one CD. So it wasn't later when they had different technology, when they did the reissue, that they could fit all the stuff. And then, of course, there's the super deluxe reissue, which I have over there. I forgot to bring over, which has like 8 million outtakes. You get to see the progression of Lindsay's songs. So there's lots of ways to hear Tusk, but I think we'll just concentrate on the album proper tonight. Maybe add just a couple outtakes. So any other thoughts on the cover, Jim?
Yes, one thing of note, the music's really different on this from song to song, but the writing really is a tight thing.
Mm-hmm.
What was going on between them, and there was a lot of kind of a jaded feel about the relationships all through there. Lindsay felt that way. Stevie and Christine felt that, a little bit apprehensive about, being all in on a relationship, and that's pretty much the theme of it.
Right.
The different, but the writing is really really tight, and it kind of bounces off each other, and that's what probably pulls it together as an album.
So as we go into it, I will say these are my thoughts on Tusk. I'll sum it up at the beginning, then we'll go into the song by song. Some of Stevie Nicks, if not her best writing ever, I feel is on this album.
No.
This is my opinion, Jim.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't interrupt you when you're talking, do I? Well, sometimes I do. Okay. I think some of Stevie Nicks' best writing. I think Storms and Beautiful Child are two of the most beautiful things she ever wrote. I think Christine McVie branched out a little bit. I think Lindsay was weird. Some of it's good and some of it's not. So there's my summary. Does anyone else want to give a quick summary before we go into the track by track, or are we just going to sit? Alicia, I want to know what we're getting into. This is fun.
Well, to me, except for the fourth side, this felt kind of like a country record in some ways.
Yeah.
At least that's how I heard it. And really, I was trying to figure it out because I'm so used to listening to CDs, but then I have to remember when I pick up these older records, they thought, every 5 songs was a different side here. But, side 2, for the most part, side 2 is like a Buckingham Mix thing because it's just Stevie and Lindsay.
Yeah.
From track 4 to track 12.
No Christine?
There's
Right.
no Christine.
That's hey, that's your, yeah, I noticed that.
Yep.
It's been a while. I've played it today and made some notes, and man, it's been a while since I heard Christine. And she didn't mention there's some back-to-back Christine. I don't know what's the breakdown of who had. It was probably pretty close to the number of songs.
I think Stevie had 5, Christine had 5, and Lindsay had 10.
Oh, well, Lindsay's were short.
Right.
I read somewhere that if you actually added up all the times, Stevie's songs actually are longer than Lindsay's put together.
Yeah, I would think.
Believe it or not, I didn't even realize that.
You don't feel that no one's dominating this record when you listen to it.
Time-wise, maybe, but I felt like Lindsay had a lot. But maybe that's because I was listening to songs and not time. But this is, I thought the side 4 was like just gorgeous. It's harmonies, beauty, very dreamy sort of music. I don't know what, the dreamy side, I guess, minus Tusk, because Tusk isn't really,
Right.
But it's I would say Christine and Stevie were my favorite. Lindsay gave a couple of really good songs, but then there's some that I feel like they're almost for the road. You can just be goofy and fun about them because they're like, just, I guess it's Lindsay being Lindsay, but
And to me, Lindsay's songs came off as like a solo record because there was you don't hear Christine in it, you don't hear Stevie in it. There was just him,
Right.
and him being, you know, recording by himself in his bathroom at home. So there was no band effort to me in terms of his stuff. He might have played some of, you know, mostly all the instruments too, for his own songs.
Yeah, he was doing weird stuff like playing Kleenex boxes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was wanting to figure out which song was that, because I've heard that and it didn't like stand out. However, I noticed he liked the snare and he put that thing up front of like every one of his songs.
Right. Cool.
It worked for a few of them, but the others, it was just like,
You're like
dude.
on A for some of them. All right, friends. Well, let's go into the track by track. The album opens with a Christy McVie song, and it's a very, very slow burner. The first time I heard it, I'm like, boy, this song's boring. There's not that immediate Fleetwood Mac hook that you usually hear. The production almost sounds demo-ish in a way to me. It's interesting because a lot of indie music years and years, decades later, kind of took on that Tusk production. So that kind of sound is normalized now, but in the like pop, rock, soft, yacht rock market of 1979, you just didn't hear songs like Christy McVie's over and over with that kind of production a lot. Now, I've grown to love this song, but it took me many, many years to appreciate it. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Who wants to go first? Okay, Roland.
I think it's a beautiful song.
Yep.
I think it's one of the songs I like best from her. The live version is great on the live record. And I read that, you know, they were messing with people's minds when they were doing a sequencing, like they wanted to lure you into this sense of calm and security, and suddenly you hear like The Ledge, you know, all of a sudden, like, whoa. Yeah. So I think it's a beautiful song. It's interesting that Christine on tour for this for the Tusk record really didn't do her own songs. I think she only did Over and Over, and then she did Think About Me Sometimes. So I'm curious as what her own reaction to her own songs were in Tusk, that she did like one or maybe one later, whereas Stevie and Lindsay did about 3 songs each from the new records. Like she seemed to like be hesitant about her own music from this record on doing it live.
I do feel it's a daring album opener, and the thing I love about this song is it doesn't really start to cook until like the last 10 seconds. Like they start to really start jamming, then it fades out really fast. And I think that's kind of daring too. I love the harmony that they do in the concert with the over and over. You hear Stevie in there. I love that.
Let me down again. You know, when Lindsay and Stevie doing the backup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jim.
Yes, it's an unusual, especially when you want to sell records, to open with something pretty mellow. It's a good song. It has a country twang to it, and the guitars. Mm-hmm. It's kind of accessible in that way. It's very mellow. You know, it's. I like the harmonies at the end. Stevie does her voice is very prominent in bits of it at the end, and it kind of sets the tone. You don't know what you're going to get when you come on up on the next songs on here. But it's kind of a, you know, they didn't care about sales. They just wanted to make a statement that we're an artist and this is what we're going to do. Now, am I remembering wrong? In Ken's book, didn't Lindsay overdub something kind of dirty in the background vocals, but it's like way underneath? Does anyone remember that at all or no? And like the over, like he's saying something else and you can hear it if you listen for it. Maybe I'm imagining things. All right. Anyone else want to talk about Over and Over? Roland or Nathan?
Oh, about what Jim said about it being an unusual opener. One would expect something like Think About Me to be the opener, something very immediate and very pop, and, you know, there's rumoresque. Unlike this slower song, which, you know, I one of the impressions I read that people had about this record when it came out was that it was boring. Yeah, I thought the song was boring when I first heard it. Like, no hook. You know, especially if you come from like 1977, 78, loving them, and it's, you know, you get like, you know, what is this? It's boring. It's slow. It's like, it's the first song. I mean, what's next?
the electric piano.
The Ledge.
Was this song about who was she dating? Dennis Wilson?
Yeah. She says in a book. The authors of this said that Dennis Wilson came into the studio and really helped develop the song.
Okay.
Because he was in the Beach Boys and experienced from that.
Yeah. Brian Wilson was one of Lindsay's big influences on this album, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nathan, do you have any thoughts on Over and Over?
I think what I like about Over and Over, and it's one of my favorites on the album, is that it kind of sounds like, I don't really know how to describe it, but it sounds like the ocean a little bit.
Yes.
It sounds kind of like you're out on the water or something. And I think that fits really well with, I just like finding those kind of common threads through their work with older Fleetwood Mac songs, like Albatross is one that I would put next to that.
Does it sound like this ocean?
Yes, exactly. That's all I have to say about it.
I remember I dubbed my CD onto cassette when I had a car, which was the Christy McVehicle, by the way, in 1994. And me and this hot straight guy were driving around being dirty, listening to Over and Over. So that's my last thought on this song. I won't say his name. Okay. Any other thoughts on Over and Over before we give it the thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down?
It was Jim.
What?
His name was Jim, actually. Okay. Thumbs up, Over and Over.
Yeah.
One of our best songs.
Get him up, Jim. Better get it up there, Jim.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Alicia's like hovering in between. Alicia, did you talk about this one? I'm on medication, so don't let me skip anybody.
Well, Over and Over, it's putting this song on. It was just, you guys all said it. It's not what you expect. It's a good song, but it is a slow burner. After the third, fourth, fifth time, I went, okay, this is definitely. It's a definitely good song. It's just
a grower.
It's not the one that you go, oh my gosh. It's not Think About Me.
That's what made this Fleetwood Mac album. It made it different for me. There's a lot of growers on it, and all their previous albums were like kind of instant gratification. Like you loved Go Your Own Way, like the first time you heard it.
And I think Rumors is that album. You listen to Rumors all the way through, and you go, this is a fantastic record. Let's play it 15 million times. Whereas this one, it was, you play it once and you go, wow, okay.
Okay.
Back on the shelf, pull it back out. You listen to it 2 or 3 more times and you go, okay, now I'm starting to get into it. But this is a record that definitely needed more time, I guess. It's a great song. It's just not the pull you right in. And
I did read it, maybe it was in Ken's book, that Lindsay didn't give that more glossy production to the Stevie and Christine songs. They do seem a little bit more demo-ish than the productions he gave them on Rumors. So imagine the song if he gave it a little bit more of a glossy production instead of the more lo-fi that he gave it.
Well, and I think that works really well with Stevie's songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Stevie's songs are considered some of the best that she's done on this record, is because she just, I think a lot of people like her more demo, stripped back, just, it's the
rawness, right?
Yes. And the atmosphere. She's really good at creating an atmosphere.
Yeah, she really does that on this album for sure.
Yes. So I think Christine benefits more from the slicker production and the layers of vocals and this, that, and other.
The gimmicks, the doodads. All right. Well, 19 songs to go, you guys. Can we do it?
Yeah.
Next, Lindsay shows up with his first song. The bass is panned all the way on one side and the drums are panned on the other. So if one of your speakers are out in your car, like it was in the Christy McVehicle, you only have the bass and you don't have any drums. The song's called The Ledge.
That's the old school.
Yeah.
That's all the early Beatles albums. If one of your speakers out, it's you only you just hear half of it.
Yep.
I mean, really half of it. So it's like that. So
this is Lindsay being an artist, being experimental. it's hard to describe the Ledge without just hearing it. It definitely sounds different than any Fleetwood Mac song before or after it, and it's kind of unlike anything that anyone did. It's kind of rockabilly. I'd say it's rockabilly.
Yeah, that's root stuff.
Yep.
In a
All
way.
right.
It made me think of a hoedown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Count on my fingers, count on my toes, with my fingers.
Yeah.
Now, is that actually Stevie singing, or is it Lindsay with his studio tricks?
I was just trying to figure out what he was singing because he was singing so dang quick, and he has the vocal is pulled back into the mix more than in the front.
Yeah, I don't think it came with a lyric sheet.
No, it didn't.
Not
Yeah.
original.
That's why Jim
I
gave us that.
I didn't have one.
Now, didn't the CD, oddly enough, have the lyrics? It did. That CD that came out in the 80s had the lyrics.
Yes, yeah, in the later, yeah. I had to get the lyrics and know the words by buying a songbook.
Hmm.
I couldn't. Some of the songs I couldn't. Even Stevie's songs I couldn't figure out. One or two words here and there.
He never actually says the words "the Ledge" in the song. And Fleetwood Mac message board "The Ledge" is named after the song, which brought us all together. Correct. So shout out to the Ledge.
Yes.
Wow.
And much like the song "The Ledge," the website has those who love it and those who hate it.
Yeah. But
I
it's
don't
the
care
Ledge,
for-
it's mostly those who hate it.
Oh. Oh.
Sorry
I
about
don't
that.
care for, and I skip to think about me.
Okay, so Roland is out on the Ledge. I love it. I think it's fun to sing along to. And I'm just gonna say I put the hoe in hoedown.
I know that's right. I know that's the freaking truth. I appreciate. Can I jump in on this? Can I get in
Yes.
on this now? Thank
Absolutely.
you. I like the phrase "buy another fixture, tell another lie."
Yeah.
Did I take that for paint another picture, see who's surprised? I particularly like that lyric, and I wonder, since the phrase "the Ledge" isn't actually in the song, if maybe it refers to the mural on the outside of the Village Recorder,
Oh.
which is the right. Can you all picture it in your head?
Mhm,
Where?
mhm.
Okay,
Maybe.
thank you.
Well, the new Lindsay has arrived, inspired by punk. And this song does not sound like punk at all. However,
It's
it's artsy.
I think it sounds punky.
You think so? I guess lo-fi, like indie. It's indie. Camper Band Von Beethoven did a whole album.
Yeah.
Where they
Yes,
covered
I have
the
it.
whole
I have
album.
that on CD. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
they covered Tusk.
It's even weirder than the real Tusk.
it's really good actually. It's that they did the whole. It's the story goes that they did it over a weekend, but I think they spent a little time than that. But they did some weird little electronical stuff on
Yeah.
really annoying at first listen, but then you hear it again and said, well, this kind of, well, yeah, whatever. It's kind of
Can you guys send a link? Can you guys send a link, please?
Camper Van Beethoven, right? Yeah,
Yep,
I have the CD somewhere.
and you can probably get it every song. And it's Lindsay liked that that they covered everything. It was kind of like a tribute, and Lindsay liked what they did, and they really, like on some of Stevie stuff, they really butchered it. But then if you hit it again, it's like, okay, I mean, I get what they're coming. They used some kind of kid recording device with word, and it was really strange. But and some of them were really heartfelt, especially Lindsay's material. It was a good stab at it. The fact that I listened to it twice says that it's kind of interesting.
Is this?
Thank you in advance for the link.
Can I show you guys something really quick? Oh, hold on.
Not your Tusk, bro. Do not show
I have a new member of the Phonogenics family, Miss Janet, my new kitty.
Okay.
Oh,
Remember my cat
is
Lucy
she
died?
like a cat in the dark, and then she's the darkness.
Yes, look at her.
She's a
After
sweet-
Janet Jackson, Black Cat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cute cat.
Jim, what do you think of The Ledge?
Yes, it's a very rough sounding track. It's just really bizarre, but some of these lyrics are definitely pointed at Stevie. I mean, and paint another picture, and it's I like it more. Certainly, I like it more now than I did then. You know, it's really a kind of bit of a shock.
Yeah.
And it's it sets the tone of what Lindsay was going his own way, certainly.
All right,
I mean, what a change in 2 years. You know, probably a year. You know, going from go your own way, never going back again, and to the ledge, and not that funny. You know, that this is so different. You know, less than 2 years.
I do got to say that Lindsay was pretty hot with that new haircut too. I approve. Over that rumors afro.
I like the afro more.
Oh, see, we don't have to compete. We don't have to compete over our favorite Lindsay, Alicia. Okay. Any other thoughts on the ledge? Anybody else?
Just one little note.
Okay.
When Lindsay, the stage presence on the Tusk tour was a little bit of David Byrne from the Talking Heads. A lot of this been around. And that's
kicking Stevie. He kicked Stevie, right?
I thought, when was it, that tour?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I mean, there are pictures of Lindsay wearing like new wave-ish makeup during the Tusk tour.
Makeup was a little over the top, but you know.
And Stevie had that like frizzy perm on this tour.
Yeah, the Donna Summer look.
Yeah, she did. Okay, so the ledge, thumbs up, sideways, or down? I give it an up.
I like it.
This is so much fun to see that. I wonder if it's gonna be one that we all agree on. All right. Next, Christine McVie comes out with another song where her and Lizzie Buckingham are singing together, and it's hard to tell which one's which. Think About Me. It sounds a little bit closer to a classic Fleetwood Mac song, although the production still is a little bit edgier. I think this is a classic Christine McVie song. I love it. I don't have too much to say about it. It's a Christine McVie delight.
Yeah.
I don't hold you down. Maybe that's why you're around.
I mean, this song to me encapsulates the classic Fleetwood Mac sound.
Yep.
You know, like Hold Me, you know, Lindsay and Christine singing together, and they sing together well.
The Fleetwood Mac magic is there.
Yeah. Excellent song. Love it. One of her best.
This song is about harmonies and bass. Those are the brightest little spots on this song, I think. You know, it's good all the way around, but man, that's a good track for your car on a Tampa afternoon or something.
Oh my God. Do you know another sweet spot of the song? All it took was a special Christine McVie's melody. It's so great. It's like a fresh breeze through my bald head.
Yeah.
Boy, I need to do more podcasts on painkillers. No. Okay.
And you hear the three of them on this song.
Yeah. Think about me.
And I'm glad they brought it back for the recent tour.
Did they? I forgot about that.
No.
I think it's worth noting
many years.
Lindsay used some trademark studio magic on this one, right? And I don't know all the names of the things that he ran it back through and stuff, but he did run it, you know, through the main soundboard and then back through a thing and then out under a bridge and back around to give it, you know, did all these extra steps like that to give it an especially dirty, nasty kind of sound. And I think it really comes across on the record.
Alicia, what do you think of this song?
I like the song, and it's one of those songs that, listening to this record, I kind of clung to because it is that traditional Fleetwood Mac sound of what we have come to know and expect. And I think that's what makes Tusk such it's a good record, but it's a tough record because it's like they went through and said, this is what we're known for, and we're going to strike through everything. And this is one of those that it really did. I like it. It's a fun, upbeat tune. It's something you can sing along in the car, and the harmony. I mean, it's Christine McVie. I mean,
right. I feel like it had enough edge so it didn't sound like a repeat also. So it is their classic sound without being stale, I feel like.
yes.
Yep, I'm Team Christine on this one. Some of the demos on the box set have them more stripped down. Is it just Christine singing without the Lindsay, maybe, on the demos? Well, doesn't matter. Jim.
Yeah, the demo for this one on the CD wasn't that different, I found.
No, it wasn't that different. None of them were too different. Okay, Jim.
Yes, it's a very classic Fleetwood Mac pop song. The closest song on this album to anything on Rumors.
Yeah.
It has I think a Rolling Stones feel to it. Some of that instrumentation is very Stonesy.
It is.
Like the pop, a very pop Rolling Stones song. It has some of the guitar work, some of the piano work is very Stonesy. It's a good thing to hear on the radio, and I remember hearing it when it came out. It's
kind of honky tonky.
Honky tonky, a little tumbling dice, right? Didn't they have a song?
I hope I can say the word honky. I don't know if that's allowed. And then also very Stonesy in that part where Lindsey Buckingham goes, "Woo!" right as the
the exclamation, yeah.
And the electric piano. I love her electric piano on this. All right.
Okay.
Well, I give this a strong thumbs up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Double strong. Double thumbs up.
The Phonogenics Stevie Nicks panel agrees. Thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay, the next song. I think this is the one with the Kleenex box, isn't it? Don't know why I
Save Me a
have
Place.
to work. Say, I like his background vocal. Save me a place. Me a place. Save me a place. Lindsay being weird. The song's kind of childlike. It had some pretty harmonies. I don't know. Who wants to start this one off? Does anyone want to talk about this one?
Not crazy about this one either.
All right, we have Jim and Alicia.
This one's kind of boring compared to like the more out there stuff.
It's very folky. It has a very layered vocals, a very unplugged feel to it. I don't think that's plugged in at all. You know,
doesn't Christine play acoustic guitar in the concert version of this?
Yeah. I've seen the pictures. Yeah, it's for the song.
I feel like stuff like Tame Impala that came later, like took a page out of this book. That like indie, lo-fi, weird production.
It's a very traditional sound, really. When you kind of look at it, just something from the early, 20th century. That kind of thing. I love the "turn me off, turn me out" lyric. It's got an edginess, but it's very, there's a lot of traditionalness to it.
Hey, Alicia.
Okay.
This is one where I like the melody. I like, if we had to go by just the music, I really like it. But I think Lindsay was trying to put his vocals kind of further back in the mix. So, it took me a good 4 or 5 listens to get kind of the full lyrics with this one. And it didn't help that he had the
cleanest box going.
Yeah. I was thinking of snare, but if this is the Kleenex box songs, then okay. But it's just that is so prominent that it kind of covers everything else. If it was a little bit more
okay,
well, if that makes or kind of brought back or whatever, it would have been better.
Definitely has a bizarre mix to it.
Yes.
And I feel like, especially in 1979, this must have been a shock because production like this is really common now in indie music, like lo-fi stuff. But at the time, this is definitely not this isn't Rumors, friends.
No.
Yeah.
Nathan, do you have any opinion of this song?
I like it just fine.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I kind of like the weird production. I think I'm here for this one. I think it's charming. Jim.
Yeah, it's a good song to listen to if you have your you're obligated to do something and you really don't want to get up and do it. No one wants to really go to work, you know. I love that lyric.
All right, so Save Me a Place. This should be interesting. I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so side one of the vinyl ends with what I consider a Stevie Nicks classic.
Yeah.
It started off as an 18-minute song, right?
Oh, I heard it was like 3 hours.
Like a 3-hour song. Yeah, it was 3 hours long. Then Lindsay always edits her, so it went down to like a half hour long. Then there's the cleaning lady mix, which is like 27 minutes long, where she's like, I don't want to be a cleaning lady. I want to be a star. And then there's the album version. This song, I think, is one of Stevie Nicks' best songs. It's so layered. Every note counts. Every note is perfect, in my opinion. These harmonies are exquisite. They have Stevie's original demo piano in there on one side, then Christine playing on the other side. And it just, when you listen to it on the headphones, this song is, excuse my French, fucking amazing. Her lyrics.
Yeah.
You can look up the story. The song's about Mick Fleetwood and her friend Sara. What's her last name? Rencore? Something?
Sara Rencore.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably sit and talk about. I could talk for hours, but I'm not. I'm just gonna say one more thing, then turn it over to you guys.
Yeah.
This is how you do sexy, because so many people are pornographic and Stevie Nicks and like Undoing the Laces. That's such a sensual, sexy lyric, and it just shows Stevie at the top of her songwriting powers. Sara is amazing.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now. What do you guys think?
What's great about the songs, a lot of the lyrics, you don't know what she's talking about. And you know, A Great Darkwing, oh, that's Mick. I mean, I didn't know that, but you know, how interesting. So I think that was cool. So, you know, people have interpreted in their own way, like, you know, who's Sara? Is that the child she didn't have, or is it Sara Rencore? Is it like, you know, who's that? I think it was cool when she did it live. She made a character out of it, you know, with the red cape and her hair up in a bun like a Victorian lady. And you know, I when I think of the song, I think of that image of Stevie Nicks dressed up like that as Sara.
This might be a hot take, but I really feel like this song doesn't work well live. I feel like this is more of a studio song.
It's different live, yeah.
I love it live.
Really? I just think all the layers and the subtleties.
The White Winged Dove live version, I think Jimmy Iovine kind of remade it.
Okay.
And all the players on that fit. You got Roy Bittan, you got Ben Montench, and you got, you know, Waddy and everybody. Just terrific.
Was it on the actual HBO special, or was it an outtake?
Fandom that much more.
It was in the video. The 1 hour video.
I haven't watched it in a little while.
Yeah. And I love the version on the Tusk tour documentary, which is kind of like the one on the live 1980 record. I think it's a great live version.
What do you think of the demo where she's like, doo-wop? Like she puts all the doo-wops in there?
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Nathan.
Editing's a good thing.
Yeah. I love the doo-wops. You're right. Sara's could be a long discussion. There's a blog out there, and it's not updated anymore, but it's called 365 Days of Sara. You've also come across it.
I've seen it, yeah. I've seen it.
Yes. And it's this person that song is just, she's just all about it. And so it's 365 days, meaning she would post something new about that song every day, and all kinds of little fun facts and things you can find from that blog if you go into the Internet Archives or whatever. I think it was on Tumblr.
That's amazing. I never heard of that, Nathan.
Yeah, okay. I think she wrote this song at the house on El Contento that sold a couple of years ago. And I got the sense from reading that 365 Days of Sara blog that it was written primarily, or figured out primarily in the guest kitchen, like the second kitchen that your live-in person would live in or use. So yeah, this song is my second favorite word is a vibe.
Yeah. I even like in the fade outs, like how every word counts. Like there's a heartbeat and it never dies. In the longer version, the wind became crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia, what do you think of Sara? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Well, I'm like everybody else. I mean, we could spend an hour just talking Sara. It's one of the first Stevie songs that pulled me in, and that definitely made me start diving into her stuff more. I think the lyrics are just fantastic. And I think that's a mark of a great songwriter. She wrote it about X, Y, and Z, but you can really interpret this to mean so many different things, you know, the symbolism and everything. There's just so much I mean, the melodies, the layers, or the harmonies. The thing that I think that stuck out is because Stevie isn't trained, she only had a couple lessons. Her doing their demo, it took Mick forever to kind of get the
drums
to work through. So I was kind of today, I was thinking as I was listening to this song, kind of going back through the record for this, but thinking how this really is this is a really advanced record. They really did innovate and show off their skills. It's just not so obvious, if that makes any sense.
It's subtle.
Yes. This isn't a song you go, ooh, ah, but if you start trying to play, this is.
Yeah. Once it's under your skin, it's like really under your skin. Yeah.
Yes. The lighthearted side is, I've kind of redone some of the lyrics. So me working in accounts payable, I've been saying drowning in the sea of bills where everybody hates drown. But, you know, it makes, so that's kind of the lighter side. The lyrics are just so much fun to, you know, I've been having fun kind of saying that to gals. But, yeah, this is definitely a great song. So,
something that you brought up, and then we'll go to you, Jim. It really made me think, Alicia, that this song is truly every single member of Fleetwood Mac doing what they do best. Because I think sometimes Lindsey maybe pats himself on the back a little bit too much. Like, I'm the only one that can do this to Stevie songs. But in this song, I don't think anyone could have produced a song better than Lindsey Buckingham. The stuff he does with the acoustic guitar panning and the intro and stuff is so amazing. Mixed drumming is so subtle. His tom hits. John McVie's bass line is wonderful. And then Christine's piano, like the harmonies. This is really Fleetwood Mac at the top of the game. I consider the song a masterpiece.
Oh, yeah.
Jim.
Yes, it's a very lush song that really builds a crescendo at the end. I think Stevie's vocals are buried in the mix of pretty deep, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I noticed that on this record, there's things where her vocals right out in front, especially her solo records where she's out in front.
Right.
But this, it's very buried, and it makes it kind of eerie. And I think the some of the production values is very Pink Floyd. They have a very atmospheric, very layered stuff in their work. So it kind of reminds me of Pink Floyd in a way.
I agree.
Two quick points. One is, I wonder why she chose the H-less spelling of Sara instead of the biblical version.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I've wondered about. Oh my God, I just totally forgot the second. It was a hot take too, Jeremy.
Oh, I love the hot take.
Damn it. Oh, what? Drowning? We're just gonna only
drowned in the sea of love. Yeah. Drowned in.
What gives?
That's almost as bad as the Nog
Where's the
Shampra.
beef?
Well, I would say no H in Sarah because part of it is about Sara Record, who does not spell her name with an H at the end.
I was going to say.
Yeah. And ultimately, Sara is Stevie Nicks. There's an interview where she does in 1987, and she's at the airport where the guy asked her, who is Sara? And she says, well, that's my alter ego.
And Sara did come back in Tingle in the Night, which we'll talk about in a few months.
And as Sarah Fleetwood singing.
Yeah, true. On Street Angel.
Yeah.
All right.
And Lindsay's sorry, go.
Oh,
What?
I was going to let you finish.
Yeah, go ahead and finish Roland, then we'll go to Alicia.
Lindsay's guitar is amazing in the live version. We kind of finger picks throughout the whole song. You can hear if the part where the Great Darkwing part, the whole song actually, you hear this very delicate, cool guitar finger picking.
All right, Alicia.
Bluegrass. Yeah.
Well, okay, to go with the Sara, I also thought that Stevie said, because the heartbeat line goes back to that explosive interview where Stevie wasn't thrilled in the early 90s when, was it Don Henley?
Don, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That wasn't cool, Don.
Mm-mm.
But she would have loved to have named, if it was a girl, Sara.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was interesting. And pins through the lyrics to some of it. So the other thing I think of, because this is such a great song, but I wonder how it had to be interesting. This is one of those songs I would have liked to hear the writing experience more than If I'm Wrong, of how they pared it down or created it, if that made any sense. Because this is one of those, I guess that's what makes Stevie's music so interesting, is depending on who she hands it to, it kind of changes and morphs.
right.
It's still essentially Stevie in the center, but it's so it'd been interesting to see how this morphed into what was the final production.
Kind of like Belladonna Gypsy versus Mirage Gypsy.
Yes.
And the thing is, I love the album version, but I'm not offended by the single version. I mean, I'm so glad the album version exists, but what they edited for the radio isn't offensive to me.
No, it's fine for radio. It's fine for radio.
It's good
Radio
for
does not expect to be that long.
No.
People should, they don't have patience for that.
And I also wondered, her having it like 20 minutes, what did it take for her to finally whittle it down to this 6.5?
Right.
That's really painful for her. So it would be very interesting to know what the other
16 minutes were.
Yes.
All right, Jim, did you have anything else to add?
Not really, but I'm curious how long the single was, the length of it.
I think 4 minutes, like 4.5.
4, yeah. A lot of Stevie songs, solo and Fleetwood Mac, are around 4. It takes to get that story out. So there you go.
All right. I would imagine we were all giving Sara a thumbs up, right?
Oh yeah, it's part of the lexicon. It's one of the biggies.
Now, Lindsay did stretch out a lot of this album, but I really feel like Stevie got to stretch out a little bit too artistically, because her songs are very compact on the other albums, and she got to be a little expand.
Yeah, what Lindsay brought to the project helped. It kind of let the other two, or even the whole band, kind of, oh man, I kind of always want to do this, and and it. I think I was reading something this afternoon that at first there was some little apprehension, and then once everything got laid out, they said they were all kind of all in. And there was a lot of fights and stuff, but that was personal stuff. But as a piece of art, they were pretty much all in, and understood what the goal was.
All right, so we're flipping the record over. We made it to side 2.
Side 2.
You get a bunch of snare hits, and then Lindsay's once again being Lindsay. What makes
Yep.
you think you're the one? His vocals are very over the top. Every little thing is there to see. I'm gonna sing the whole album to you guys. Christine, is this Christine doing the piano? There's actually some piano in this one.
That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Christine or Lindsay.
Lindsay plays. There's that Tusk documentary piece where he's playing on Angel, and Lindsay can
Right.
play. And there's some times where he's playing. I'm not sure. I tried looking it up and I couldn't find an answer to that. So
There's definitely some very loud drum fills in this song.
yes, I'm telling it.
A very off the wall production. What do you guys think of this one? Who wants to start this one off?
What song are we on?
What makes you think you're the one?
You're the one. Fun song. I like it. Fun song. Very bitter lyrics towards, I would assume, Stevie.
It's pointed at Stevie Nicks.
A lot of these Lindsay songs, I don't have too much to say about them, but I like them. I appreciate what he did. I like this one.
This one actually has a good hook to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I caught myself getting this song in my head and I'm singing it throughout the day. I mean, this is, and that snare snap, it really works with this song.
Yeah, it sure does.
So this is one of his better songs off of this record.
It certainly does not sound like Fleetwood Mac. If you know what it was. Jim.
It has a lot of. It's very Beatle-esque in some ways.
Mm.
Like the I don't know early period, mid period. Little. I think it's got some John Lennon sass to it, at least. You know, it's got some Beatle-esque. That's what I felt. It's funny that you hear something, it reminds you of another band, but it really doesn't sound like a band.
What about some of Lennon's solo stuff, like Plastic Ono Band? Wasn't that pretty raw?
Yeah, it's kind of that sort of thing.
What do you all make of the lyric? What makes you think I'm the one who will love you forever? Everything you do has been done, and it won't last forever.
So bitchy.
Oh.
Bitchy.
Oh.
He's being a queen there. Who do you think that was about, you guys?
I wonder.
Well, I don't have too much else to say about the song. Does anyone else have anything to say before we rate it? I give it a thumbs up. Wow. Oh,
Wow.
Jim's tilting a little bit, but okay. Next is a Stevie Nicks song that took a while to grow on me. When I was younger, I'm like, this is so boring, and it goes nowhere, and there's no hook. Then it was 1996, and I was on the subway, and I was in my early 20s and heartbroken. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best song that's ever been written. The production is so subtle and beautiful. The lyrics are gorgeous. I think Storms is a minor masterpiece from Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Some of the early demos have a clunkier like band sound, like isn't very good. But one of her best lyrics, I've never been a blue calm sea, I've always been a storm. And I think I would put that on my gravestone if I didn't have Don't Blame It On Me, Blame It On My Wild Heart. Oh, what's that say?
Oh, Jim, what's that? What does that say? Storms?
Just what Jeremy just said.
Oh, okay. Oh, very nice.
Never been in blue calm sea. And my sister-in-law did this. Very nice.
And this is another one, like the band really shines with Christine's piano, Lindsay's guitar, the harmonies. And I even love the little Mick tambourine that comes in later. Like, to quote Nathan, this is another vibe. I think this song's a vibe.
It is. I think it hangs with the other sort of aquatic, out to sea vibe that has been present on this album so far.
Mm-hmm.
On that YouTube thing I mentioned where they take you on a tour of the Village Recorder, there's one moment where they take you back behind the studio room, the main control room, into the little lounge area. And the guy being taken on the interview, you'll know you're at the right spot because he makes a joke about, do you think if we rubbed the table, we'd find some residue on here? But then they pan over to the wall for a moment, and on the wall is a painting, and it's of this, and it's a pretty big, like an oil painting, and it's of this ship on a really raw, stormy sea, all being, battered around and stuff out on the ocean. And it would just be too much to actually think that picture was there in 78 or 79 when they recorded this. But I kind of wonder if maybe it was, because
Sure.
it's just it fits too well. So, who knows where she got that idea of the storms as the theme and the storm personified. But there is some evidence to suggest that it was from that very painting.
Interesting.
I almost feel like every lyric in the song is beautiful. Like, my body tries to cry. This is one of those songs that really kind of is my heart. Like, this song, I really feel this one. I've been in that place a lot of times in my life. I'm glad the song exists because it put into song a feeling I've had. And, it kind of helps you release the feeling a little bit. So thank you, Stevie, for being fucking amazing.
That line, every night you do not come, your softness fades away. That's very pretty.
This song's heartbreaking.
I wonder if it's about Mick, because he had that affair in Hawaii for a short time.
Does anyone else remember how Fleetwood Mac was going on tour? Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, it's I think I read somewhere it's about Nick.
Okay.
And it's okay.
Oh, go ahead. Finish off, Jim.
Yeah, Stevie's kind of went on that she doesn't want to be kind of tied down, and this is kind of an expression of being an independent woman. It's kind of, it leads up to the solo career of the second song. And it's very well sung. It's a terrific song, but it's not commercial.
Not at all.
You don't see this being on the radio, but this is just a really terrific song. A lot of people pick up different things from it, and I have a little story that when I first met my first couple of my days of my now wife Laura, and this is like I was at a hotel and she was there. I flew to Tennessee, and I stayed at a hotel, and then she would go home at night, and it kind of popped in my head. It was kind of like the save us line, all the prayers in the world, save us. And that was kind of like, it came out of the blue. It's not like I heard this song within the last several weeks at that time. It just came to me. It was kind of like, it was like heaven sent. Oh. And like, it was kind of like this song is the end of a situation. It's like, a disaster of a relationship. And it's kind of like it was telling me that, this is your opportunity. Don't mess this one up. So it was kind of like, I was starting to fall in love and then we were having a good time. And then it's like, well, I don't want to go into this pitfall of what this song is. So it was kind of write the lyrics at the end, that sentiment of, because Stevie kind of at the end, a lot of the time she puts in a lyric where maybe things can be better for us or something. That's my personal story on this.
I love it
in different ways. It's really, that's what a good song ought to be.
Something I love about this song is even the fade in is kind of loosened. It doesn't start off in a traditional song way. And does anyone remember, like in the 2000s and 2010s, Fleetwood Mac would tour like every 4 or 5 years. And so after a while, they kind of got kind of same-ish, the tours. But I remember there was one where they'd sing Storms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to the show just so I can hear Storms live. Because I never in my life thought I'd hear the song live. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful live also.
Yeah.
And did she say, like, this is my songwriter's dream to do this song? It's a deep cut, but I think a lot of the fans really love it. All right. Any other thoughts?
It was completely, you wouldn't think she would do that song.
No. And it translated well. She still sounded good singing it, in my opinion.
And even Beautiful Child, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, which came in a later tour, same concept.
That was, what was
that?
Sublime.
Like
12-ish.
The Say You Will tour?
No, I feel like it was the one after
Yeah,
Unleashed.
sure.
Yeah, Unleashed that time. Yeah, the 2010s, as you say, for Storm.
And then 2012 was The Beautiful Child.
I'm glad they brought those out.
Yeah.
Those need to be live, just for the record.
Now if only to do maybe Level Change Your Mind live, I could die a happy man. Or Blue Denim, my Sweet Angel songs. Okay, Storms, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a shock. We're going back to Lindsay again.
Oh.
That's all for everyone. We got some bells, some marimba, a lot of Beach Boys-ish harmonies. Very 2010s indie. Must have taken its cues from this song. Very ahead of its time. What do you guys?
Who took their cues?
A lot of the indie bands that came out like in the 2010s, I feel like.
Sure.
Okay, there we go.
I like this song. I don't have too much to say about it, but I love it.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Any other
I
thoughts?
like
on
it.
this one?
I think it'll work out well at some point as a show closer. If they ever do like a cool tour where they do some deep cuts.
Okay. That's all for everyone. Okay.
Yeah, I see that.
I just love the vocals are just really buried in the mix that kind of just cut through all the harmonies. I think it's beautiful. Jim.
Yeah, lots of layering, instrumentation, a lot of different sounds. And Lindsay's making a statement here about, I don't know if I read or interpreted that it's about the expectations of, you did Rumors and then you have to top it somehow. And he's saying, well, I want my space and I want to, do what I want to do. Some of the lyrics are kind of run together. You have to get that lyric sheet. I didn't have the luxury of a lyric sheet when I first heard it, like in '83. And even today, I was going back to look at the lyrics on everybody's stuff and making sure, and a lot of misheard lyric stuff on this album, because you never had the luxury of having that lyric sheet with Tusk. And then, you look now or look and okay, that's what you meant. And Lindsay's writing on this is pretty damn good. The whole record.
Yeah.
Some points. He makes some points. It's a little snarly and a little bit accusations, but hey, he makes these points. I mean, give him credit.
Isn't what he's saying over and over, must be just exactly what I need? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Must be just exactly what I need.
Yeah.
All right, Alicia, do you have anything to add about this one?
Well, besides what Nathan said, that was the first thought I had, is this would be definitely a concert closer.
I heard a pause just waiting for me to get in there, so I got it in there, Alicia. Sorry, I stole that from you.
Oh, that's fine.
Ethically.
Well, this is me going, and I second that thought. But I find it interesting. I like the song. I mean, That's All for Everyone kind of got stuck in the head, but it's a good song. I don't know. Some of his songs on this record, I don't know if I would put them in like I play them, but they really hang with this record.
Right. It's a vibe. It's another vibe.
Yes.
Nathan, you came up with the word for the podcast this episode.
You'd be rich for every time you say it. But yeah, I mean, I like this song. I mean, I wouldn't say it's in Lindsay's top 20 or anything, but it's a good song.
I think he was going for something different, and he really achieved it sometimes here.
Yes.
So I give this one a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh, Roland with the sideways. Okay.
It's not the strongest thing on Tusk, but it's acceptable.
We get 2 Lindsay songs in a row. The next one is not that funny, and I cannot stand this song. I think it's stupid, and I hate the live version. I think he's screaming and yelling, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
Okay, maybe the yelling part.
So
Oh, and all that moaning and groaning too.
yeah, if I want some moaning and groaning in my life, it's not from Not That Funny. But I'm sure music is subjective. So who else would like to talk about this song?
Don't care for it. I skipped to the next one.
Yep,
Which song are we on?
Not That Funny.
I think it's a lot of fun live. Blow the
Yep.
roof off the place live, you know, and it brings something to the live show that none of the other songs do, which is like just
Yeah,
really,
a bathroom break.
No,
Isn't it like 10 minutes long live?
it's great.
It's long live, eh? It's like 10 minutes long, right?
I always had time for the bathroom and a slice of pizza from the concession stand.
It gives Stevie a chance to change out, you know.
go
only
rearrange
reason
your
this-
candles.
The only reason the song was written for Stevie to get a shawl change.
Jeremy, that's what I mean by go rearrange your candles.
It's not that funny, is it?
But what do y'all make of the "Here Comes the Nighttime, Looking for a Little More" part?
That lyric comes up later in the album, right?
Yes,
No, that's not that funny, isn't it?
What's that?
Yeah, it's near the end. It's near the end of the song.
Walk a Thin Line.
No,
Yeah,
I know I'm not wrong.
It's
It's
on, it's on Walk a Thin Line too.
I thought it was I Know I'm Not Wrong it was in.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, really?
either way,
Well, it's all.
you could be right, Jim.
I think it is.
Now, Here Comes the Nighttime, Looking for a Little More. It's in my songbook here. Yeah.
Which song?
We're Not That Funny.
But it's in another song too on the album. The
Yeah,
lyrics
it's
are-
waiting on the right time. Somebody outside the door. Yeah, yeah.
Roland, is it also in Walk a Thin Line or I Know I'm Not Wrong?
Talk amongst yourselves while I look.
Okay. Thumbs down. Does anyone else? Oh, Nathan gives a thumbs up.
Great live.
To me,
We are mixed on this one. Go ahead, Alicia.
to me, this is one of those songs off of this record, and this one in the Ledge, it just made me feel like these are songs that you put on that you almost can play like the caricature or of something. You know what I'm saying? Like just goofing off song, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Those lyrics come back and I know I'm not wrong. I just found it in the lyrics, the book.
Wrong.
I guess if you take it like that, it works. It's just, I don't know. It's okay. I mean,
I love how mixed we are on this one.
I feel like, I haven't heard the live version, or if I have, it didn't make enough impression for me to say, I've heard it. Yay.
It's excruciating. It's right up there with Lindsay's 8-hour-long I'm So Afraid guitar solo and Mick Fleetwood's world-turning drum vest.
Alicia, I think it's in a Tusk tour documentary once you get to that part.
Okay. I got about halfway through,
Yeah.
so it must be on the second half.
Jim, did you have something else?
Well, Lindsay had a lot to get off his chest, and here's another song that he's getting things off his chest. And
Yeah, that is true.
Stevie again. And it's got that, there's a lot of traditional, a lot of old kind of feel to it. A lot, kind of the picking and and it has like these modern Beatles, Beach Boy feel to it too. It's got a lot of things that you can kind of pick through it, and yet, well, I've kind of heard something like this sounded like that, and that's kind of what it is.
I think it was just a little too over the top for me, which is ironic because I love camp.
Great line.
And that's what I thought. I was thinking of like Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mhm.
Everybody, you just want to sing along to it and just play the character. And I felt like that this is one of those songs maybe you can. kind of sit there and do all the grunts and whatever else, screams and howls and whatever else Lindsay throws in.
Everything. He throws in a little bit of everything. All right. Well, side one ends with a Stevie Nicks song, which is the song she wrote about her sisters. She gave all her close friends a little half moon necklace, which she still does that, doesn't she, to this day?
Yeah.
The demo of the song's on the piano. It had an extra verse that isn't on the album version. But the album version is much more of a rock song, kind of in the vein of kind of Gold, right? That Jon Stewart song. I feel it has a similar vibe. Stevie's
almost
rocking out.
sound like a heart song.
Okay. Stevie's rocking out. This isn't my favorite Stevie Nicks song on the album, but I like it. Let's never forget where she starts speaking in tongues in the Mirage live version. What happened there? What took over Stevie in that video there? Has everyone seen that here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great.
I love it.
I love it.
That is going out there.
It's like the Edge of 17 she does in Red Rocks.
Oh yeah. I feel like Rick James is right on the back of the stage, like cocaine's a hell of a drug. Nathan, what do you think? Oh, go ahead, Roland.
I love the version on the Tusk tour documentary. Alicia, you know the one how it starts off?
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing where she does that, so we make our choices, and then Sister of the Moon, and she raises up her hand, and the lights go up, and the crowd goes, oh, like that. It's just amazing, like the power of Stevie Nicks there, And she does a character for the whole song. She puts on the black veil over her head. She's very mysterious. She builds a character like she does in Sara for this particular song.
I also feel like Stevie was looking into the future because, so many people said more cowbell, and Stevie's like, I got you. So she with her cowbell in the live. Alicia, you had your hand up?
Well, it seems like with this record, Stevie realized she's really the front person of this band. She's really the star that was really bringing people in. And you can see creating the characters. I felt like this is really the beginning of that Stevie Nicks mysticism that, she has to wear red with this and she has to wear it seemed the only other one it seemed like she really had was with Rhiannon.
Sure.
For this. Did she have a special shawl for Gold Dust?
Yeah. Yellow. Yeah.
But that didn't come till later though, did it? I don't feel like she had it for the Rumors tour. I feel like that came out later.
Yeah. Around the dance time.
Okay.
Or maybe the Tango the Night tour, because she did Gold Dust Woman too for that.
Okay. I know she's done Gold Dust probably every tour since Rumors, but this seems almost about the time when it seemed like she really said, okay, each song has this or that, and really kind of consolidated.
Yeah, she was formatting her brand, I feel like.
Yes.
In a good way. Like, this is one of those witchy Stevie songs. It's no Rhiannon, but it's also no Jane.
Well, I love this song. I almost have to play like every week because it's just a fantastic song.
Good.
Do you know what I love? Christine fucking McVie's harmonies. And doesn't she have when she harmonizes on top of that is haunting. It's so haunting. I do love this song.
But one thing that really surprised me about this song is that Walter Egan did a version of it first.
That's right.
You can find it online. It's such a personal song. Why would she give this song to him?
His version's terrible.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
That doesn't make sense to me, but
That's what.
And this is another one where the way the song starts, like it just, and then Christine comes in with like that low keyboard note. This is so good. The song is so good.
Yeah,
like in the distance, the witches, the witches sing.
The witches coven.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet this song's gonna come back someday. Like it's gonna be on a TV show. This song's gonna have its day, just like Seven Wonders did. And
one is American Horror Stories. That.
This song is ripe for the picking.
No.
This was the fourth single from Tusk, and it wasn't a huge hit.
No.
But Nathan, what do you think of this song? I'm curious.
Sisters of the Moon,
Yeah.
classic,
Classic, right?
iconic.
Mhm.
I thought it was interesting. For some reason, every time I listen to that Jim Ladd interview, which is always fun to do, I think. She talks about, and she used this same sort of talking point in other interviews, like in thank you, Jim, for setting up that 2020.
Oh, I love that, Jim. I watched it
too. Although it's really done best, and I think her template, even to this day, for interviews is largely that Jim Ladd interview from '79, right? That's kind of that's sort of the template she uses. But where she talks in that and other interviews about walking down the stairs and seeing herself and blah blah blah, real thin and
who is this girl? Who is she?
Who could she be? Yeah, and all that stuff. I just kind of put it into the timeline in my head the other night that would have actually been. Remember, because she talked about how there were no limousines and it was very early on. So that would have probably been before even the Rumors tour, right? That would have been on the late 75 tour or whatever, when she, just based on what I'm inferring, that she walked down the stairs and saw herself that way, which was interesting to me because I had always conceived of that and interpreted it as having happened during the Tusk tour, but it couldn't have, based on everything she said and the timeline of writing it and so forth. So yeah, Sisters of the Moon, that's a good one. And I think it is, in some ways, everybody likes to talk about how this album isn't like Rumors, but boy, there's a lot of similarities. And you can compare Sisters of the Moon to the Moon to a Gold Dust Woman, just like you could do a Think About Me compared to a Say You Love Me. So maybe these two albums aren't as dissimilar as people like to think.
Okay.
Because Nathan is correct. Sisters of the Moon was premiered during one of the late Rumors tours.
Right.
Yeah, I think, and then she had Lindsay sing that "Some Call Her Sister of the Moon" part too, and then she came back and did the ending.
And a title like "Sisters of the Moon," like in the Stevie Nicks universe, it'd be so hard to write a song that lives up to the title, and I feel like she does. Like the song is worthy of the title.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel it's a little gendered though, and it leaves out, Brothers of the Moon. Can't forget about the brothers.
No, but in the Mirage one, she goes brother, sister, brother,
sister,
and totally redeems herself.
Brother. Oh, shit. Okay, hard thumbs up. Jim, do you have something to say?
I didn't say much, or
yeah, go ahead.
It was born from a jam. They were just playing, and that's how it started. Sisters of the Moon. It's a very bandy thing, where they can freelance on it too. Okay, there was a point of her getting thin. That was said, and I think it's a little bit about expectations from the fans, and it's something about, you like the rapper Velvet, maybe it's intimidated by the fandom or something. I don't know. It's kind of, it lends itself to a lot of interpretation. This song, it can mean it. And I read today that she has no idea what it's about. She says it was in her gnarly trollness. She wrote this over a 2-day period. Maybe she doesn't want to let on what it really means. So it's up there with Gold Dust and Rhiannon. It's pretty solid. It's not quite as good as those two, but it's there.
I agree, Jim.
It bucks up the catalog or the imagery. It fills it. It does its job. It's very good.
Now, was it originally a piano demo before it became a band song? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I had one more thing to add. What was it? Crap. Oh well. It'll come back to me. Sisters of the Moon. I totally lost my thought. Any other thoughts on Sisters of the Moon?
Cowbell.
Yeah, more cowbell.
More cowbell.
All right.
Well, she brought it back for the last 15 or so. She brought it back.
We went to the Louisville show in 2014, and she did it. I recorded.
was amazing, right? It sounded great.
It's my highest. The video wasn't very good because it's the old iPhones. They're not, her face is all, all bright. It was too bright. The light on her was too bright. It just wasn't. But the recording was good. It's my highest number of views on YouTube. So
nice.
So Louisville, 2014 is.
I remember what I was going to say. Stevie Nicks really pulls out all the stops on this album because her performance on Sara was so soft and beautiful. But then this one's the other extreme. Like, she really rocks it out on the song.
Oh, yeah.
You really get to see the scope of what Stevie Nicks can do as a singer on this album, I feel. And one more quick thing, then I'll go to you, Alicia. From all the singing on the Rumors tour, her voice did drop an octave. So on this album, you don't have those high Stevie Nicks notes. Her voice did go down. So, Alicia.
Well, I was going to say the other extreme was Storms. To me, that's such a. They really did create an atmosphere with that one, and you guys said everything I would have thought of. But that's over there with Sara.
Yeah.
And then you have Angel, which we're about to get into, and Sisters of the Moon on the other extreme. So I mean, it's just.
All right, cool. Do you guys want to do a little pause before we do record 2?
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right, friends, we're back with Phonogenics 101, discussion of Tusk. Thanks to my Patreon subscribers, some of which are here. Thank you to the YouTube subscribers. I'm going to show you some of my favorite Tusk collectibles. We have the deluxe record box set. Here's a little interesting thing that came out for Record Store Day. They had a record, the alternative Tusk, which had some of the demos and stuff on it. And then they also released a record from the Tusk tour, Fleetwood Mac in concert. So another live album in addition to the one we had from 1980. I think these were on the deluxe set as bonus tracks, but it's just a cool thing to have.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're moving over to side 3 of the double album. I'm powering through this. I can't say B's or P's easily with Bell's palsy.
B's
or P's. But you know what? We're going to get through this. Side 3. You flip over the record, and once again, you have another Stevie Nicks song. Now, this song to me was a lot like Over and Over in Storms, that when I first heard it, it felt underproduced, boring, a weak hook, and I just did not like it. But when I moved to Atlanta in 1996 and was on that train with the Discman, I was like, oh my God, Angel is the best song ever. She described it in one of her interviews as her little, what'd she call it? Her little 50s rock shuffle or something?
A old-fashioned dance hall girl, something like that.
Old-fashioned dance hall girl. I never really liked the live versions of this. I like the studio one. But
I think the live version helps you appreciate the song in general because she does, again, she assumes a character. She has a beret on. She has that scarf around her neck. And she does that cute little dance at the end. She and Lindsay, singing the same microphone. So that adds to my appreciation of the song. Seeing it, how it's being done in an interesting, certain, fun way.
This is the first appearance of a line that would stay with Stevie Nicks for the rest of her career, the Ghost in the Fog. Isn't this the first time we get the Ghost through the Fog? Tracking the Ghost through the Fog, yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
So I love Angel. It took a while for me to get it, but there are people where I still look up when they walk in the room. So that's another time, like Stevie put into song something that I'm like, holy shit, I feel this.
Yeah.
It's kind of raw. It's very different than Rumors in the production. Like, it's more lo-fi. But I think Stevie gets a chance to rock it out a little bit. So I'm going to shut up. What do you guys think of Angel?
A lot of fun.
And she, once again, the Stevie Nicks vocal performance, like, she's over the top. The great pretender. And it knows that I love like it goes. I feel like some of her album vocals on the White Album and Rumors are very like slick and professional, I feel like on Tusk, she kind of Stevie'd it a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, the acapella, well, it's not acapella, but you hear it as acapella in the Tusk Tour documentary, which is by the microphone.
Mhm.
Sometimes I must when she sings that part, I mean, what her voice is like, beautiful in that part.
Mm. Another favorite part is like, it's funny that you understood. I knew you would. A lot of great Stevie moments when you were good. I don't know.
And there's that fun part in the Tusk Tour where Lindsay, when they sing together, I think he touches her bum, and then she gives him kind of a, look there. What was that for? Kind of look.
He's tracking a ghost through the fog. Well, I think this song is pure T genius.
It's fun. It's a fun song. It's so different from Sisters of the Moon, which is very serious and gloomy, you might say. And this is
Pure T creepy.
Creepy. It's a creepy song. Yeah, it could be.
I'd go as far as saying this song doesn't sound like any Stevie Nicks song before or after it. Like, to me, this is one of a kind in her catalog.
Yeah.
Do you guys think there's anything else like Angel?
Yeah, I think Gypsy is a little bit like Angel.
Really? I would Gypsy more like Sara, like sound wise.
Maybe there's some similar instrumentation, but I think the tempo and the theme of the two songs, Angel and Gypsy, are very similar.
Okay.
I know we're not talking about Gypsy right now, but if you remember the music video concept for Gypsy before they screwed it up or whatever, got a little off track, was that it was the spirit of the gypsy dancing through these different time periods, the 20s and the magical forest and the Great Depression, inspiring love, just sprinkling fairy dust, right?
Okay.
That was the concept of it. And I think that was the concept for it because that was in part the idea of the song. And I think that's the same thing we see in Angel. It's like a charmed hour and like a haunted song. And do you know what I mean? Like, to me, when I think about Angel and what it's about, that's what I think about. It's just about sort of the possibilities of romantic relationships that you could find yourself in. And that's the ones that are like a ghost through the fog are the ones that just kind of keep passing you by.
Don't you guys feel like Stevie walked up to the microphone like calm, cool, and collected? And she just worked herself up into a lather. By the time the song's over, she is worked up. She's fired up and ready to go.
I think the Wild Heart shows had some of the strongest live versions of this. I really liked it. It was a little more on the piano and not so much on that electric piano.
That Christine had?
Yeah.
I have to check that out. I've never watched any of the Wild Heart versions, so I have to check it out.
There's a good version at the Ice Festival, right? 83?
The one I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. And even the Belladonna one that's recorded, but there's no video for it.
Oh, okay.
Jim, I saw your hand.
Yes, you're talking about live versions. The Us Festival one's really good. I think she might have been a little. She was high.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it kind of lent itself to be looser, and a lot of good stuff came out of that. It's to break it down. It's a very funky song. I was thinking of. When I was going to play Tusk, like there's probably no disco here, but this is closer to any disco on Tusk and by a long stretch. So, and there was a little documentary that was kind of cut up. They were interviewing Lindsay, and they were interviewing a disco artist, and they were trying to create some controversy, trying to create some kind of, like they didn't. There's a lot of good disco. I mean, like any genre.
Oh my God, Donna Summer's amazing.
And yeah, Donna's great. And then there's a lot of cheesy stuff. So, this has a little bit of a disco beat. And towards about halfway through where she picks up her vocal, this is kind of when I think her solo career started. Just the essence of the strong Stevie going out and own thing and just saying
emoting
this, and I don't care if I crash, I'm going all in, and that's kind of what it is.
Yep.
it's the band really plays great on this. It's a great band track. Live versions are great, like the one I said, and the ones on the Tusk tours. That was real, with Lindsay coming over to the mic and kind of holding her, and Stevie being half embarrassed. And it's a great moment. That's just a great band moment. That was real. That was real as it gets.
See, I need to watch more live versions, and I kind of glossed over it, so I must admit I didn't pay enough attention to the live versions of these. So, duly noted. Two things. Speaking of Donna Summer, I don't want to threaten everyone with a good time, but I do want to do a Donna Summer Phonogenics series one day because I love her albums from beginning to end. And second of all,
love you, baby.
It was interesting because Fleetwood Mac had a song called Angel only 3 albums before on Heroes Are Hard to Find. It was a Bob Welch song.
Well, this one's a little bit.
Yeah. They're definitely different, that's for sure.
Welch had some great stuff, though.
Oh my God, I loved Bob Welch.
He kind of repeated some themes, and
he
ran out of like the creative gas. But Welch, some of that live Welch stuff in the day, that's some good stuff.
Really good. Okay, any other thoughts on Angel before we move on? I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah,
thumbs up.
My gosh, we're unanimous on a lot of stuff on this album. Okay, guess what? Lindsay's back.
Oh, Lindsay's back. Yeah.
This is one of his kind of rockabilly. Okay, so there's a beach called Madeira Beach, which is about an hour from my house. Me and my friend Shay went out there. I'm like, let's listen to an album that you've never heard. And I played her Tusk. And she's not even a big Fleetwood Mac song, but she's like, what the fuck? A lot of it. But the song that she really loved is coming up later in the album. But I just want to mention my little beach drive playing this album for my friend. That's enough for me. I love this song. I think it's fun. It's fun to sing along to. Kind of the same tempo as The Ledge, but not as wild.
It's fun. It's fun. It's nice. It's short and sweet too.
Yep. It's the same old way it used to be. Oh, I can just sing along. This is a great song to listen to on those beach drives down the Gulf of Mexico. Like windows down, a little iced coffee in hand. All right. Does anyone else have anything to say about this song? Alicia, what do you think of this one?
Well, I'm over here trying to actually remember it.
Oh. He goes, yeah, whoa, yeah.
If it's the like 1 minute and 45 seconds after.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember it. It's nice. It's a nice little ditty, but between all the other songs on this side, it kind of gets lost. Brown Eyes is really good, and Angel is really good. So this one just kind of, I don't know. It's like it gets
filler or commercial.
His guitar solo is crazy. The guitar solo reminds me of one of those like automatic things on the Casio keyboard in the 80s. Like, I love it. I think it's a minute and a half of Lindsay heaven. And is this a song on the demos? He had like 10 different versions of it where the lyrics kind of slightly change.
No, that's If I'm Wrong.
Oh, okay.
Or I know I'm not.
I'm not wrong. Okay. I guess there's not a lot to say. Nathan, do you have anything to say about this one? I don't want to skip over anybody.
I like it just fine.
Jim, do you have anything else?
Yeah. It's a wild blend of roots rock and new wave.
Yep.
It's just
very good. Jim. Very good.
And it's a very punchy track.
It is very punchy.
And the lyric wise, I think it's kind of like, old feelings about Stevie again.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the lyrics, the same old thing used to be, and that's enough for me, and all that. So, good track. It's an interlude. It's kind of an interlude. It kind of bridges one to another.
Right.
As far as expression. it can't close an album. No, it can't. It's a middle song on the side.
The sequencing of this album is a wild ride, but I really feel like it works. I'm down with the ride. I give this one a thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right. Christine McVie is back after a long absence, right?
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's quite the absence there.
Brown Eyes. There's a version with Peter Green on the guitar, which and he is on the album just in the fade out, right? Just for a tiny bit.
Yeah, right at the end.
There's a version with Christine that has some different lyrics. Yeah. I like the later one better. I think the song is one of Christine McVie's best. It's almost it's almost haunting like a Stevie song in a way.
I disagree.
Really?
I find it to be completely forced and ineffective. I do not enjoy Brown Eyes. The only other comment I have to make on it, I'm ready to go on this one, Jim. Only other comment I would make is the analogy. How I'm suggesting that this and Rumors are maybe more analogous than people think, is that if that's the right word, is that this song to me mirrors Oh Daddy. They tried for some kind of a minor key sort of moody piece to break things up, but to me it doesn't land, and it's ineffective.
Okay.
Contrary to what Nathan said, I think the song is nothing like Oh Daddy. I think it's very romantic. It's very ethereal. I love Christine's weird harmonies. I love Lindsay's muted guitar. Mixed drumming is very subtle.
Bass.
Yeah, the bass.
Are we not going to also talk about the fact that it's called Brown Eye? It's about assholes, right? Brown Eyes. Hello.
Well, that's why I love this song. Oh God.
And the beautiful building up chorus is Shalalas.
Yeah. Alicia, where do you stand on this one?
I actually liked it. I thought she did really good in her presentation of this, and there is such a strong R&B feel to it. I just liked it. The 2 times, 3 times I listened to it. So I mean, the second half of this record, I didn't listen as much as the first half. This is a record that really does take you like a couple months to really swallow this.
And Alicia, are you going to keep on listening to it for a little bit after the podcast?
Yeah, it's in the car.
Okay.
You're probably going to almost have to ask me at like Christmas time after like several months ago, okay, which one's your favorite?
Right.
After we go through all of these, I guess, and they're all simmered more than a couple weeks.
I kind of like getting your fresh perspective, though. That's kind of cool,
But this was a song going through the second half of the album here in the last 3 days that stuck out, and I went, "Ooh, this is really nice." So,
I love where Mick goes into the beat just for like 2 measures. Like he goes into a beat with a snare drum, and then it drops out for the rest of the song. That's like a classic Mick Fleetwood maneuver. All right. Well, any other thoughts on Brown Eyes?
No.
Jim.
Yeah, it's another Christine track. Kind of the theme of what she's doing on this album is she doesn't want to get heavily involved in a relationship. Are you just another liar? I think it's a super groovy track. It fits well with older Fleetwood Mac, through time. So it's and I loved it when I first heard this. It's like 1980, 83. I really liked it. I never heard anything like this before. But this lends itself to the old Fleetwood Mac, which I never heard up until then. So this is kind of their old saw of what they do, what Fleetwood Mac is. So
you feel like it could have been like on Penguin or Mystery to Me?
Maybe a little. It could have been in all of those. It's just you know,
the kind of mysterious,
yeah,
otherworldly.
yeah. It's I mean, it's
Two on the nose.
yeah, and then people's or Peter Green lays a couple licks at the end, and you can hear it. So that may have been a message that this is kind of bridging everything.
I could see it sitting next to a Bob Welsh song. I could.
Yeah, it would work with the
Guitar work throughout the song is beautiful. It's excellent.
I love the effect. Lindsay doesn't use that effect on his guitar a lot that he uses on this song.
No.
Well,
and there's a nice live version on the Fleetwood Mac live that came out recently. There's a live version from the Mirage tour.
Oh, that'd be something to listen to.
Well, I think we know what Nathan's going to vote on this song, but I give it a thumbs up.
It's good. It's more it's kind of an inside joke or inside band song. I think it's like great musicians appreciate things like this.
You know what I say to Nathan? Are you just another liar?
Yeah.
All right, Christine's
It's
back.
like the song about the assholes. That's what's going on here.
We have 2 songs in a row from Christine.
Yeah.
The next one on the deluxe edition, there's a more traditional sounding Christine piano version. On the Tusk final version, it's more of the ethereal. I feel it kind of has that ocean kind of feel that you keep bringing up, Nathan. You'll Never Make Me Cry. What do you all think of this one?
I find it so-so. It's not as good as the other ones I love.
Go and do what you want. Anyone else? You'll Never See Me Cry.
I enjoy this song. It does have a sort of oceanic feel to it. My favorite part is when she says, "Don't worry, baby, something, something, something.
I'll be all right."
The way she kind of climbs up in the notes and her voice when she says, "I'll be all right," and it almost breaks a little bit at the end, is a pretty effective vocal technique, I think. So I really enjoy this song.
And I said
This
you
song
won't.
doesn't make me cry.
I said You'll Never See Me Cry. That's Wilson Phillips. It's You'll Never Make Me Cry. Christine McVie.
Okay. Not to be confused. This
With
song
Wilson
does
Phillips.
actually make me cry, but they're tears of joy.
Don't Make Me Cry. Your opinion of Brown Eyes. Anyway, Jim.
Yes, I like the lyric. I might not mean everything. I think her voice breaks there, like she's going to actually cry. That's heartfelt. I mean, it's it's pretty heartbreaking. It's up there with Songbird in some degree, and the sentiment of this.
Absolutely.
It's a very solemn track. It's a very solemn track. It's it's about a breakup, and it's kind of like the final note on it. It's about John. I'm pretty damn sure. That was a large part of their lives there. And
really? Why do you think it was about John? I don't think of John. I bet John made Christine cry a fair number of times.
Oh yeah.
What's interesting that I think
it was about John.
Oh,
I'm just guessing it might be about John.
I take it to be more in the present tense because she says, "I may not mean everything, but I'm happy to have your love." I'm thinking Dennis Wilson.
Okay. Well, there you go. And you don't know, but
or that the lighting guy, Curry, somebody.
Tom Curry,
the lighting guy, Grant Curry.
Curry.
I think it's Dennis Wilson because she was dating him at this time.
Do you know what's interesting that I just thought of is everyone's like Rumors and Fleetwood Mac were the commercial albums. I feel like Fleetwood Mac as a band gelled even better on this album than sometimes on the other albums. Because there's a waterbed of sound that they kind of created on Storms, on this song, where they really gelled as a band. The best moments of Sara. Mm-hmm. So, everyone's like, oh, Lindsay this, Lindsay that. But all the band members really brought their A game to a lot of these performances.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And their live shows on the Tusk tour were really tight.
Mm-hmm.
There were the crowd's reaction is just incredible. and they go out there and they just completely blow it away.
The grueling Tusk tour.
Yeah, I appreciated that they played absolutely everywhere, in every market, in every Midwest city. You know, in those days, there wasn't really flyover country like there is now. You know, they went and they played huge shows in Indiana and St. Louis and places like that. And that's really cool. You know, they were like a really American sort of a traveling circus act. Anyway, I'm telling Jim, I'm looking at you, Jim. I'm telling you stuff you already know, but
well, yeah, they would play like Des Moines and gosh, you know, like 8 places in Texas and things like that. That's probably what, if you can, there's websites where they have a list of all their shows from the inception. And that'd be something to study, you know.
And it was just them. It was just them. They didn't need 8,000 auxiliary musicians on stage.
Yeah.
They were a college band until Lindsay and Stevie, they got to be stadium arena band.
All right. You'll Never Make Me Cry. Thumbs up for me.
Oh no, so for me. So.
Okay, another shock for you guys. Lindsey Buckingham is back. Another rockabilly song. This song was the one that my friend Shay loved. I know I'm not wrong. That verse from Not That Funny comes back. Here comes the nighttime, which was good in both songs. That's my favorite part of Not That Funny. I love this song. I think this is a great song.
I like it because it's catchy more than some of his others.
Would have been interesting if it was a single. It would have been daring. I feel like they should have tried something more daring as one of the singles. Because everything I guess Tusk was pretty daring. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Does anyone else have any thoughts on this one? It's kind of similar to the other one, but Jim.
I was listening today, and it kind of reminds me of some Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers in some way.
I can hear that.
You know, it just like kind of that era, and Tom was starting to be in the charts, and I don't know if anything was borrowed, but kind of the attitude and lyrics are pointed at CD again, and it's about a relationship unraveling.
I love the chorus. Don't blame me.
It's an upbeat track, a fun track, but the subject matter is counter to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is the one where he had a bunch of different lyrics in his works in progress, but what he ended up with was the best. Roland, did you have something?
There's a version on the Tusk Deluxe where you really hear Stevie's voice on it, but she's been totally edited out of on the official version. You don't hear her at all.
Alicia, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Can I plead the fifth? I mean, I know I've heard it. It's just
it's 10 Lindsay songs are hard to put on your hat.
Yeah, it goes by in a flash.
Well, it's just weird because, like, I remember Brown Eyes and Never Make Me Cry. I repeated those because they were just wow. And the fourth side is just wow. But the two little ditties that Lindsay did on the third side didn't quite stick in my head. I don't know if it's I just need to repeat them a couple times, and then that's probably something you have to do with Lindsay because his is more music than lyrics. Yeah.
Alicia, did I call on you for Never Make Me Cry? Did you say your piece on that one, or I didn't mean to skip you if I did?
Oh, it's fine. It's no, I didn't say anything about it, but I was trying to. The one I remember it's the piano version for the official.
Oh.
And it's beautiful. It's just, I feel like Christine really did. It's interesting that they put her at the end for this album. And that was something I noticed is the White Album, Fleetwood Mac, they did Lindsay. Rumors, they did Stevie. And then this record, they did Christine.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was such an interesting, in a good way.
Yep.
Kind of give each one of them that ability to close the record. I thought that was cool. And I think Christine's at the end of a lot of it. These are some fantastic songs that she did.
Yeah. Because I remember you didn't love her stuff on the Fleetwood Mac album, right? You thought they were kind of teeny bopperish.
Yeah, and I was like, out of the three of them, I would put her as, the low man on the totem pole, so to speak. And I know I got a little bit of heat for that, but this record, it's the opposite. I would put Lindsay at the bottom.
Yeah, she brought some great stuff to this album. She really did.
So.
Okay, well, I know I'm not wrong. Any other thoughts on that one? Nathan, did you have anything to say about that one? No? I give it a thumbs up. I love it.
Can I do this and say neutral?
Yes. Okay, well, we made it to the final side of the Tusk album. Daddy's back. We had Sugar Daddy on the Fleetwood Mac White album. We have Oh Daddy on Rumors. And the lyrics from this song are Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. The song we're talking about is Honey High.
Oh, yeah.
This song is a 3-minute confection of pop sweet perfection. It's cheesy as fuck. I love it. I play it over and over. The little part where they harmonize at the end, I just rewind it and listen to that. Daddy, all I'm trying to tell you. How's it go? There's all three of them singing.
Lord, I really love you. That honey, 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 high. And then just fades off.
Cause I'm far away from home. I love Honey High.
I love this song. Beautiful, beautiful song.
When I first heard it and when I first got the album, I thought it was just a throwaway. And there's even a review from back in the day that says, like, I can't remember what they said, but I think it's just like a piece of chocolate. You just got to put it in your mouth and it's sweet. Yeah. I love Mick Fleetwood's conga playing. The harmonies. Like, this song to me is perfection. It's Chrissy McVie bringing to the table the sweetness that she brought to this band. You can tell
I even love how it starts off.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
it fades in.
Yeah.
You can almost hear the stars in her eyes in the romance,
There's a Tusk rehearsal concert, not concert tape, but a rehearsal tape somewhere that they actually rehearsed this song. So I think it was considered for the tour, but it wasn't done for the tour, which is unfortunate.
Wow. So this was never performed live.
No.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think? One of the stars of the song is Stevie Nicks. Her harmony on there and hearing that Stevie voice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and considering that they don't sing a lot together, all three of them on the songs in general on the record that they do on this song, it's just the wonder of the three voices.
Who else has that combination? Nobody.
I just know when I listened to this, my jaw dropped and I had to repeat it 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Just fantastic. I was like, wow, okay. So,
Alicia, I'm so glad that you've seen the magic of Chrissy McVie because she's so deep in my heart. Like, I love her as much as Stevie for different reasons, but I'm a huge McVie fan.
Maybe I have to find the different songs. Maybe
right. The thing she brings to me is a whole different thing than Stevie, but that being in love and that optimism, like, I like that just as much as the darkness. So it's good to have that shadows and light, And my friend Peter, when he used to live here in Tampa, we'd always just make fun of Christine and be like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. That's like all she says in every
words, isn't it?
Yeah, she says it like in every song. Daddy, Daddy.
Well, Stevie's is Angel. I mean,
right.
Find a song that she doesn't say the word angel.
It's such a simple sentiment, like Honey High. It's so simple, but it's beautiful in its simplicity, I feel like. Perfection. So I give it a strong thumbs up.
Yes, yes. Excellent song.
Jim.
Yes, I'm looking at it lyrically where Christine's she's bracing for another disappointment in a relationship. And she's worried if a relationship breaks up. She feels like she's longing to go home back to England. And that's what I get from that. And, it's good. it's fun, or it's good for her to be with someone and it kind of masks her, because she's always wants to go home. There's lots of things, lyrics,
Homeward bound.
of wanting to go home and getting off the airplanes and all that. And that's the sentiment of it's a real good track.
It's truly a California love song, isn't it, Jim?
I love the vocal interplay at the end. That's pretty good. So thumbs up.
Nathan, do you have anything to say about Honey High?
I love it.
So do we all give it a thumbs up?
Yeah.
That I do.
I think it's one of her sweetest songs. And Jim, it really is a California love song. She's far away from home. I never thought of it that way, but she really was.
Yeah, she took a break for 16 years, for a reason. So,
wow, I never thought of this song actually having like a personal depth to it, and it kind of does. So, Honey High, one of my favorites.
I think he broke up with someone and headed off to England after the dance tour. So, obligations. So, she bugged out.
All right. Well, Stevie is back for the last time on the album, right?
Yes.
So far, Stevie has brought us Sara, Storms, Sisters of the Moon, Angel, and they're all. I just think it's some of her best writing she's ever done.
Yeah.
And the last song she brings is something called Beautiful Child, and I love this song. I think the lyrics are gorgeous. Her performance is gorgeous. And my favorite part of the song is when Christine and Lindsay start harmonizing at the end. Christine just does one line, right? And I'm starting to love. Like, it's just so beautiful. And then when she did it on the tour, the only reason I went to that tour was to see Beautiful Child live. I'm like, this is my one chance. This is my one chance to hear this live. What do you guys think of this song?
Beautiful.
Now, this is another one. And when I first heard the album when I was a kid, I thought it was boring and a throwaway. Yep. This is a song you kind of have to grow up into.
This is another Tusk that grows, doesn't that?
Yep, it's a grower, not a shower.
It's also a grower, not a shower.
Yeah,
and I wish she would change that line about she fell in love when she was only 10.
No.
I don't love the falling in love when you're 10.
No,
because it's about Derek Taylor. That's why. It's very strange, but it is.
It's about someone.
From the Beatles, the Beatles press manager.
Oh, really? That's about who it is?
So
Derek Taylor,
It's like a childhood crush.
That part she says about I fell in love when I was only 10 is because Derek Taylor got married in 1958 when she was 10. I mean, who would know that? But it came, she said that, and then it's really? That's strange.
That's an odd lyric. Lyric.
So is he like a childhood crush of hers, and that's what
she had an affair with him in the 70s, or I think.
But so she knew him as a kid and had a crush on him when she was a little.
No, she's saying he fell in love
in retrospect. I don't know.
She's saying that he fell in love when she was only 10, right?
No. She goes, "You fell in. Hold on. You fell in love when I was only 10."
Oh, you fell in love when I was.
Fell in love. Yeah.
Oh,
so you, meaning Derek Taylor, married your wife in 58 when I was 10. That's what she's saying. But who would know that? I never knew that, and I thought,
deep.
Wow, how strange. Yeah.
I love the line, "Too trusting, yes, but women usually are."
And then Reach for the Stars. I like that part.
God, this is another song. It's so subtle in its production, but every little nuance and every note counts.
Oh, yeah.
And that subtlety of the Tusk production on the Stevie Nicks songs, I feel like she never quite did that again like that. Like, she's done other amazing things since then, but the subtlety of these Tusk songs really stand in their own to me. Alicia.
Well, to ping off of what you're saying, I think her songs, besides maybe, but like Storms and this song, and probably even Sara, the three of them seem like she's verbalizing a feeling or a process of what you're going through. I don't think she quite ever went back through something like that, and I think that's what makes the lyrics where you feel like you've lived it. She's helping you unravel your emotions, and you're living vicariously through them.
This is a special moment for Stevie Nicks as a songwriter, I feel like.
Yeah.
And who knew we're only 6 years away from All Right, Baby, Sister Honey.
All right. I know.
Beautiful Child, we end up with Damn Sister Honey.
Well, that's
The drugs.
What's really sad is that she had a lot of great outtakes for that album too.
Right.
But that's what killed me is once I saw the other clip.
We've been there, done that, right?
Yeah.
Even as the song fades out, she does like a little note that's way deep in the mix. That's just so haunting and heartbreaking. This is a heartbreaking song. Jim.
Yeah, it's a very solemn track. And it's about that relationship we discussed. And there's Stevie, there's some sentiment of she's becoming more jaded about relationships. And well, none of these things aren't working very well. And the sentiment is to go out on my own and be strong that way. It's a very powerful vocal too.
Now, I know I've said this over and over in this podcast, but I feel like every musician has brought their A game to this song because Christine's piano is exquisite. John's bass playing exquisite, mixed playing. Like Lindsay, I feel like as a band, it's amazing what they're doing here.
Oh yeah.
And there's all this talk about Rumors being their best moment as a band. I think as musicians, they really shined on some of these Tusk songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the band's doing its job, but it gives Stevie some space vocally in this.
Right. Like she never got on the other albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that one verse where it breaks down to just Christine's piano on her, where she's like, "You say it will be harder in the morning." It's like, I'm getting a little tear in my one eye that's not wonky right now. Alicia.
Well, I think what this album allowed all of them to have kind of the time. I think that's the problem Stevie always had is I think she writes 7 to 10 minute songs. I call them epic songs, but I mean, so it always was hard for her to try to squeeze her songs into that 3 to 4 minutes.
Right.
This album gave her the time to have, the kind of the breath she needed. I also thought with these songs that she put on this Tusk record, maybe it's because they're just so good. But who else could have done any better? I mean, this is where you realize how great Lindsay was.
Right.
Yeah.
No one could have given the love to these songs that Lindsay gave. The subtlety.
Yes. And I think he has a respect for what she tries to do with her songs.
Yeah.
I feel the closest Stevie came to the Tusk songs before this was maybe Silver Springs because it was a little bit longer.
It was more sophisticated, I think.
A little more sophisticated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the Stevie songs is none of them are hooky hits. They're all kind of mood pieces.
Yeah, exactly. It's great that Sara became a hit. That's great. But the other ones were, they were meant for the average, the casual fan.
Nathan, what were they? A vibe. They really were, though.
Yeah, they are. I'm looking at Nathan over here. It took him a moment to make a.
But were they a vibe? Yeah, no, they were a vibe. That's right.
The song was.
Or the Lindsay songs, for that matter, though.
Pure T genius. Okay, Beautiful Child. A big thumbs up from me.
Yes.
Okay, Lindsay's back again. Walk a Thin Line. Another Beach Boys-ish harmonies. This isn't one of my favorites. This is one of my. After Not That Funny, this is probably my second least favorite on the album. So, does anyone love this one and want to gush about it? Because I sure don't.
I'm a thumbs up on it, but
okay.
I don't do any gushing.
Alicia, Jim,
So.
Jim.
It's got some African vocals in it, the ooh ah ooh ah.
Oh, okay.
And Mick covered this on his Visitors album.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Really good. And it has like a little choir thing. They go ooh ah ooh ah. I love that. And there's a military march. They call it a drum roll in this through it.
Oh, his drum fills.
Yeah, drum.
Mhm.
Yeah, drum fill. That's very. I like that. And we're going to talk about Tusk. That's another
Yeah.
thing like that. And lyrically, Lindsay is kind of saying here he's being ignored. His wishes are being ignored, and that's pretty much what he's saying here. You know, I try and try and try, but no one's listening. And that's kind of what he's saying on lyrically on this.
Right. It definitely, like Nathan said, is a vibe. The song has a vibe. I feel like it just comes between two really iconic songs. So this one kind of gets lost in the middle of those for me. I give it a sideways, more towards an up.
It's good.
I just remember listening to this song, and I felt like between Honey High and Walk a Thin Line, it's like the three of them created this like trilogy of songs that is just really, really dreamy.
Okay.
Very great harmonies, and it was just wow. Was at the end of it, it's just such a. This side really kind of made me feel like this is them at their peak, and they really knew what they're doing with these three songs. They're all different, but they all had that. They all seem to somewhat hang loosely together.
Now that you frame this as a trilogy, I think I'm more towards thumbs up. I hear that. I can see that beauty in there.
And so, yeah, I like the song. It flowed really beautifully and kind of encapsulated those three. So
Side 4 is fucking great, isn't it? It's so good.
it is. And then you have Tusk after this, which is like a little bit jarring after
Right.
the dreamy.
All right, so moving on. Does anyone else have any other thoughts on Walk a Thin Line? I forgot about that version from The Visitor. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that because I do have that album.
I like that. That Visitor album's pretty good.
Yeah. Tusk, the song started out as something they do at sound checks. McLeod does a badass solo in it. This song is so. Can you imagine this being the first single that comes out on the follow-up to your blockbuster album? Like,
Yeah.
We had dreams, go your own way, you make love and fun, The Chain. Then you're waiting for new music, and finally, the new song from Fleetwood Mac, Tusk.
Tusk.
You wouldn't think it's them. You would think, oh, was that a mistake? You know?
It was I think it charted at number 8.
Now,
Yeah, it did well. It did well.
that is Stevie singing with Lindsay on the verses, right, on this one? Or is it his voice being...
I think it's his voice. I don't
You do?
hear her.
Okay.
I think it's her.
Was it did the guys also sing with them? Because it sounded like there were several.
It's hard to tell. They threw in everything in this song. There's crowd noise. There's crowd noise in there. Voices, samples.
Real savage like.
Yeah.
That always sticks out to me.
Totally.
The marching band, Stevie with a baton in the video. John McVie's cardboard cutout. You know, I think Lindsay wanted to be artsy with this album, and I think he succeeded with this song. I think it's brilliant. Amazing. Jim.
Yeah, this is kind of like all worlds kind of coming together. Mick, I think he was in France. His father passed away and his mom lived there. And this band would march up and down. He had a hangover. He didn't like it, but it spurred the idea of a band, like a full-on marching band being in a song.
Mhm.
So that, and there was a riff they played at sound checks that was like the beginning of Tusk. So it was kind of things coming together. It was just a lot of brilliance coming together. and you know, the USC band still plays this. It's funny. I heard one like during a football game several years ago. It's like the dialect in the music changed a little bit. It's kind of like things being passed around, and like, you know, and it's a little bit different. Tusk is kind of a little. It's a little different. You know, it's kind of. Let's see. It's very, you know, very African rhythm to it, and I remember when it came out.
Oh yeah. So what was your first impression? First time you heard it?
It was, I think that it was hyped a little bit. I heard, like, you know, the radio guys were hyping it a little bit. I liked it quite a bit, but in the long run, it was kind of like, what's the point? You know, there's no like message. It's kind of a cool, riffy, drummy vibe thing, and it's, what's the point? You know, I mean, you know, Fleetwood Mac, you kind of have some. Where's some deepness? Where's some, you know, where's some thought-provoking lyrics or something? But, you know, I liked it as just a composition. It was, you know, daring
as a mood piece.
Yeah. So that's about it for that.
All right. Anyone else? Alicia, did you know this song? You knew this song before you heard the album, right?
Oh yeah, it's on every one of their greatest hits albums, I think.
What do you think of this song?
To me, it makes me always think of an elephant running through like a group of people, you know, like the middle, you know, like in the Far East or the Middle East, just, you know, because that's just the sound that they created such a visual in my head listening to this. I
bet you see you doing her tambourine thing that she does when she does the live version.
Well, you all know what Tusk means, right? Makes sense, so.
It's wiener, right?
Yeah. So when they're on stage, all singing Tusk, they're all saying penis, you know?
That's why I love it. That's count me in.
And Stevie's doing it too.
Rock bands have been using phallic symbolism since there have been rock bands. I think Fleetwood Mac's is. There's also that old story about Fleetwood used to put a dildo on his side, the kick drum or something, you know? Pointed out toward the audience. That's right. I said dildo. I can say that.
You sure can. You sure can.
Well, that was before I found out that several years after I heard the first Tusk the first time. But my innocent little brain.
Aw.
Right.
Not to mention, Mick always had like the balls hanging between his legs. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yes, Stevie wasn't told what she didn't really like Tusk as an album name to begin with, and then when she found out what it really meant, she liked it even less.
She was so mad.
It was already canned, so she couldn't do anything about it.
but then she'll do a song with Walter Egan called "Tunnel of Love," which has very raunchy lyrics. I looked them up on the internet after "Tunnel of Love" and listened to the song. She does these great witchy vocals on it. Okay. But the lyrics are very suggestive.
So Stevie had her way. She would have been on the front cover of the album. And what would have been the Stevie title? Goes Through the Fog? Like, what's the Stevie title of this album?
Probably.
I could have said, I could live with,
you know, Goes Through the Fog. Here's some fog for you, you know. There's some fog. That could be that could be the cover.
Been a good one.
What's that, Alicia?
I think Storms would have been a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. That would have been a good title.
But you know what? The fact that they didn't put themselves on the cover like wearing 70s clothes doesn't make the album cover look dated.
I love the album. I think I love the title. I love the cover. I think I'm happy with the whole thing just as it is.
It's grown on me. It's grown on me. And, you know, what else could you use for the cover except the dog and the Formica, whatever this is?
I mean, it's true. I think I always looked at it as sand. I thought it was the sand. Jim?
Yes, I like the camper van. They use matchsticks to spell Tusk.
Oh yeah, like this. Yeah.
That's cool. It's just, you know. Oh, that's a jackalope.
The thing I think is cool is when you think of Rumors, you get a really distinct image in your head, and you get just as strong of an image with Tusk. It's different, but for them to create two things that are as iconic in different ways, I think is a testament to the band. All right. Any other thoughts on the song Tusk? Nathan, do you have anything to add?
I don't think so.
All right. Thumbs up for Tusk, the song.
I am.
All right. And we end the same way we began, with Christine McVie. It's a nice little upbeat moment. It's so weird that this weird long journey ends with such a kind of airy, I don't want to say throwaway because it's not a throwaway, but it's, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a
Can you say it's like a bookend to over and over, like calmness, and we're gonna like calm down after the madness of Tusk and be conventional.
The word I'm going to use is effortless, because I feel like a lot of the moments on this album were intentionally weird or, scripted, but this is just, it's so effortless. It's just Christine doing a nice little send off here.
Yeah, it's the perfect send off. It's like when they play live and they do, Go Your Own Way, and then one other encore and one other encore. It's like the very last song is never the biggest,
Right.
Dramatic goodbye. It's just a nice little, it's hard to describe exactly what that is, but this Farmer's Daughter, when they used to do that one.
Yeah.
And not to mention, we get that 3-part harmony right as the album fades out. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
What a perfect way to end this album.
What an interesting way to end this album. 95's was I'm So Afraid. And so that's what they're leaving you with. Almost like an idea to, we're going to be all right. It's quite something. It's
because I'm So Afraid was so dark and epic. Gold Dust Woman was dark and epic as a closer. And never forget, totally different.
Quiet. They're all quiet. Well, So Afraid it's different than it is live. Lindsey Buckingham, I've heard him talk about it. How the evolution of the song from a album piece to a live piece are different things. And so, but my point is, on the album, they're all kind of quieter songs.
I'm going to go as far as saying it. The fact that they started and ended with the Christine song was another daring move for the band. They could have ended with a statement, but they didn't. And I love that. Oh, you're on mute, Nathan. Did you say something? No.
I'll go
ahead, Jim.
Yes, it's a very upbeat closer that counters all the despair and self-reflection on a lot of the other tracks. I love the lyric, you feel warm but don't be cold.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sweet lyric.
Some great harmony from Stevie.
Yeah, there's some harmonies at the end there. Yeah. In Lindsey playing a little guitar. And
is that a dobro on this one, Jim?
A dobro?
It almost sounds like a dobro to me.
Okay. Well, there's a high pitch thing at the end, a guitar thing. I have to listen to it again. But it's classic Christine. It's a good. It kind of brings you out of that. Wow, what I've been. This was chaotic and wild and emotional.
Yeah.
What I just get hit with?
It's like you're out of the jungle now, Jim. Right? Isn't it? Because the whole song is like an African jungle. That's part of the concept of it, isn't it? We haven't really talked about that, but it is. They recorded it between two whatevers. So it does. It feels like what Jim just said. You almost come out of the jungle. Now you're in a little clearing or something.
Yeah, you're after you've gone to a pretty rough movie. In the credits, there's an upbeat song.
Yeah, yes. This is the credits.
Yeah,
exactly.
Do you know what else I like about this one is something they did on this album is the songs start out really loose and kind of gear up, and that happened again on this one. It kind of fades in. It doesn't have like a really solid pop song start, just like Storms. A lot of the songs on the album did that.
Yeah,
and they were never loose like that again on any of the other stuff they did, were they?
I don't think so. It's like she says in Storms, though, it's leaving you with something warm, right?
Right. Cool. Well, you guys, we discussed Tusk.
Hey.
I'm kind of sad it's over.
3 hours.
Look at that. Under 3 hours.
Never forget. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay, now is the moment Tusk on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is garbage. 1 is Jane. 10 is beautiful child. Scale of 1 to 10. Okay,
10.
Roland, you have a 10 already.
Even for the songs I don't like, but overall a 10. The
Wow, that's-
concept, the mood of it, the times of it,
All right, Jim, you're next.
a 9.5. It's a step down in rumors in like that pop sense, but it's solid. It's the band. If they didn't do this, the band might have been ended.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them a chance to breathe a little.
Because it's interesting. After Hotel California, Eagles did the long run, which who cares?
Well, there's some good stuff on it.
Yeah, but I'm glad the Fleetwood Mac didn't do their
Yeah.
long run. They
Right,
tough-
good point.
yeah,
The long run's kind of and they probably tried to make another Hotel California, but
Right.
it didn't keep up. And Fleetwood Mac went on the left field and did something that's getting a lot of respect
Yep.
today. And a lot of indie bands love it.
Yep.
So they pick up stuff from Tusk.
Very influential. Very, very influential.
Yeah.
All right, Alicia.
Well, I'm over here trying to think. I may be lowballing it. And this is probably one of those come back to me around Christmas.
I love that.
7 or 8.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's just, this is an album that takes a little more. And I'll be honest, I listened to more of the first half of the album, and then I realized around Saturday or Sunday, oh shoot, I guess I need to listen. But it is a really good album, but it does take a lot more time. It's not like Rumors where you're like, oh wow, this is just fantastic.
Right.
But it is great material. It's just
Right.
you as the listener have to do a little more work, I think.
For sure.
So
and overall it's considered a masterpiece now.
Yeah.
Whereas when it first came out, people was very mixed, more negative thoughts about it than positive.
well, I remember hearing a Lindsey Buckingham interview, and he basically said, I got my butt whooped after this album and tour because I lost money and
Right.
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
The tour lost money?
well,
yeah.
it
But
was,
it didn't make the money that they wanted.
yeah,
Right.
this wasn't the next Rumors that everybody was anticipating.
Their personal jet that they had.
Because they live so high on a tour, so you gotta spend more, you make less.
They spent like 30,000 a day or something.
Oh my God.
Something like, yeah.
Big money. There's some big dollars going out for that's not really that necessary, but
Yeah.
they
My
want to
favorite-
become entitled to it.
Wasn't there a Halloween party where Christine had crimped hair from this era too? I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I've seen the photos, and Stevie had crimped hair too.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, Christine wore the shawls during the Tusk tour too,
Mhm.
so they kind of looked alike. If you look at the live album, it's kind of hard to tell which is Christine, which is Stevie.
Right.
The 1980 live album.
I love those pictures of them on the inside too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Nathan, Tusk, scale 1 to 10.
It's an easy 9, and there's not a bad song on the album. But there are a couple areas where I feel like they should have done a little less, like in Brown Eyes, and a couple areas where I felt like they could have done a little more. Maybe a couple extra Stevie vocals here or there wouldn't hurt. So I give it a 9.
All right. And I guess it comes down to me. When I was younger, when I first heard the album, I felt it was kind of half-baked. But it grew on me. And then, honestly, I probably pull out Tusk more than most of the other Fleetwood Mac albums. This is the one I go back and listen to. So I think I'm going to give it a 10. I think it's a masterpiece. I absolutely love it.
Well,
All right, friends. Well, we can keep talking for a moment after I say the goodbyes. But thank you so much for discussing this album. I had so much fun. I love talking our Stevie Fleetwood Mac moments together. Thanks to the Patreon subscribers, YouTube, and we will be back with Mirage in a couple months. All right. We have a little postscript because we started talking. Roland, say what you just said. This is got going. Yes.
Yeah, for fun, if Tusk was a single record, which 10 songs would you pick for Tusk? Is it possible to have Tusk as a single record with 10 songs?
And I was just say,
which songs would you pick?
The space and the excess is what made it the masterpiece it was.
Yeah.
So I feel like I couldn't trim it down where I could with Say You Will. What do you guys think of that question? Jim?
Especially with Lindsay's work, it'd be kind of wild to have two of his raucous stuff on a 10-song thing.
Right.
You walk a thin line, or one of his lighter songs and then two wild ones. With the larger scope of what he did, you kind of understand what he was getting at. Even though it gets a little repetitive, there's different technique, there's different things musically in his, his wild and crazy stuff, but you kind of get, well, what song was that? And you get you mix them up a little, but
I think we would have lost the vibe.
I read a review or something today. If they picked a group, it would have been as good as Rumor, but I don't know.
It would be hard because Lindsay has about 6 or 7 songs on his record, and to pick only 2 or 3 kind of misses.
Yeah.
The what he's going for, to go for the strangeness, and you have only 2 songs, and that's it. It's kind of like if you're an artist, you have to have a body of work. You can't just show 2 paintings. You got to show 20, 25, 30 to make your point.
And even though I don't love Not That Funny, it has to be on this album. Like, you cannot lose Not That Funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I thought that was an interesting question, so I just wanted to share it with the viewers. Bye, everybody. All right, we're having such good conversation that this is our postscript. But Alicia was trying to pare down to the 10 songs, and she made some great points. So if you can remember what you said, it was great.
Well, okay, so I tend to think while everybody else was talking, but I was thinking if I had to choose just the 10, side 4, they really went for an experience with all of the high harmonies, dreamy-esque for side 4. So you would almost have to put that as the second side. So then you would have to try to find the other 3 remaining sides of what got released for side 1. And at that point, you start realizing.
And I said I couldn't lose any of the Stevie songs.
No, we couldn't lose the Stevie songs because they're really good. But then you have Brown Eyes and Never Make Me Cry from Christine, which is good. And then I was going to say, I like What Makes You Think You're the One. I think that's Buckingham's really, really good song besides Tusk off of this record. And then you have Think About Me also from Christine. So at that point, you realize, I don't think you could.
Can't be done, Roland. Can't be done.
I mean, it's there's maybe 2 or 3 songs, and I'm looking at The Ledge, and maybe for Jeremy it may be Not That Funny, but it actually kind of works. It's actually a pretty solid record. I guess maybe 15 or 16 out of the 20. So I mean, that's really good.
Yeah.
All things considered.
There's no real throwaway tracks on this album.
Nope. It's all part of the journey.
There's so much that is non-commercial, but there's great lyrics or great musicianship or both on nearly all the tracks.
Now, I feel like we're gonna have the same discussion when we get to Say You Will. It'll be interesting how we feel about that one, because
you should assign everyone homework, Jeremy.
I already got my scissors for that album.
Yes, your favorite 10.
Exactly, Jeremy. You should give everyone homework and make them send you their 12-track cut of Say You Will in advance of that discussion.
I'd love that. I'm totally down.
Or in the comments section, can you pick 10 songs from Tusk only? Put in your comments if you like.
If anyone wants to comment, here's your place to do it. And friends, we're going to go for real this time. We will see you next month.